looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear-facing, forward-facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not him. There is only one more. There is only one more. That's it. One more.
Get her ass!
No!
They saw your team put up zero effort.
Wake up!
Remember in the old days they used to have oxygen for them. Where's the oxygen?
Play like absolute just garbage.
This is the Sports Loudmouths.
Yay!
Man, can you keep it down? I'm trying to introduce here. With Errol Marks, Speedy Petey, and Tyler Harrison.
You're not even a has-been. You're a never was. You're a never was. You're a never was. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, for another show of the Sports Loudmouths. Yes, I am the host, Errol Marks, a.k.a. the Beatmaster. And on the board, as always, Speedy, Drizzleman Petey, and the other counterpartner right across the desk, right across the studio, is Tyler, a.k.a. the Duff Harrison. Remember, you can call us at 631-672-3108. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app by going to iOS, WWSRN, or Android. Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Speedy Petey, the show last night was fantastic. We had the Beav in the studio. We had Ginobili Jr. over here going back and forth with Capital Jeff. Yes, Mr. Delinquent himself over there in Tampa, he actually was going to fly over here last night. He was talking about what airport was the best way to come in, either JFK or LaGuardia. I told him JFK, and I never heard back from him.
MacArthur's right down the street. Well, he's not going in MacArthur. MacArthur's a little too expensive. One night, I mean, if he were to do it tomorrow or the next day, it probably would have cost him $600. It's that expensive coming all the way from Tampa to MacArthur. But anyways, we have a great show lined up for you guys tonight. At 9:30, we'll be talking to former Browns, Lions, and Patriots cornerback Leigh Bodden. He'll be joining us at 9:30. Very fun. It'll be a very interesting interview. We'll talk all about his career and some of the great players he played with in his career. And at 10 o'clock, we'll be talking to Pro Football PSI Player Evaluator Miguel Chapeton. Yes.
Chapeton.
I know, I'm just kidding.
You're close.
I know how to pronounce his name, Speedy. I wanted to make a joke. But anyways, Tyler, what are you doing over there? Are you trying to Tinder people over there? Swipe. What the hell are you doing? What is it with you in that phone of yours? Do you have like porno that you watch? What the hell do you do all day long? No, No, it's worse than porn. I'm actually keeping track of the Keeping
By
track of what?
god-awful Knicks.
Your god-awful Knicks.
No, by God. They're not mine. They're yours. Don't ever put them on.
But are
me,
you
please.
watching? Did you watch porn on your phone?
During the show? Absolutely not.
But I mean, do you watch porn on your phone? Like,
of course.
So you do.
I
So
attribute
what?
that
Do you,
to the loss of
what
hair.
porn do you like to watch? Is it? Do you like Asians? What do you like?
No, I don't like Asians.
What do you like?
Sorry, no offense.
I'm just asking you. What kind of porn do you like?
Any of them.
Any of them? Well,
Any
give
of
me. What kind of women do you like? Because this is something that might be interesting to some of the fans. Maybe they have a sister / best friend.
I don't
Or
want any of these people's sisters.
why not?
Because if they have the IQ of half these people, it's
What's what? Well, hold on 1 second. Snug could have a beautiful sister.
He could.
He could. She could be absolutely beautiful.
Well, yeah, that's true. Snug is exempt. I'm sorry, Snug. I forgot you exist. I'm used to all these other morons.
So, by the way, Snug says the best place to find porn is Reddit. So and you can't get viruses over there. So
Oh, thank you, Snug.
there you go. So you have a place to find your porn. So do you?
No, this Nick game is porn enough.
Well, by the way, Jeff says I bet he likes BBC. So, you know, I'm asking you because I've always wanted to know if Tyler, aka the Duff, loves porno, and you actually answered my question. And by the way, Alex likes porno too. By the way, he says probably
that?
Alex Slows. You don't know who Alex Slows is?
No.
He hosts our wrestling show Off the Mat, and he is the son of Nationals radio broadcaster Charlie Slows.
Charlie Slows. I mean, now you know who he is.
Now I know who he is.
And he probably
I
watches.
want you to know your Knicks are getting blown out by the worst team in basketball.
Well, congratulations. My
Yeah,
Knicks.
I
You're
mean-
the one who was in love with Julius Randle.
I'm not in love with the Knicks at all.
You're in love with Julius Randle. Okay.
yes, Julius
Tyler
Randle.
only loves one basketball team, and that's the Warriors.
Probably. Anyways, we're gonna get in.
This is god awful.
We're going to get into the divisional games this coming week. We're going to make our picks. I know Jeff is going to be calling. We're going to have Nathan join us a little bit later in the show.
Is he actually coming this time?
Yes,
He said he will be ready at 11. Let's hope so.
Well, this is 3 strikes, Nathan. If you don't come on this time, you're out, baby. I mean, we've been lining you up. And by the way, have you talked to Mark? Did Mark ever
No, Mark
call you?
never responded to me ever. I texted him.
Did he say he was
going
gonna
to
join us?
Yeah, he said he was going to join us on Tuesday, and then never showed up after that. And then even when I was texting him during the show yesterday, nothing. He didn't even respond to anything today. So he must be busy with something or sick, or Cedar Hart said he might be sick. I don't know. We'll see.
So we learned something tonight so far that Tyler is a porn fan. So that's a good thing. Speedy, have you ever watched porn?
For like a second. That was
a second.
A second.
That's all the porn
you
you've
didn't see
watched.
any of the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating. It was.
Have you ever snuck into your father's room and found his
no.
hidden tapes?
No,
you know,
no, it wasn't him. It was in college.
It's in college. So you were watching porno with your friends in college.
It was my room. One of my roommate's friends was watching some weird thing.
Why is it weird, by the way?
I don't know. I don't remember.
There's some weird porn.
There is some weird porn. I mean, especially if there's somebody like you in the porno, right?
Right.
The Duff himself. I mean, it would be very interesting. Could you imagine Speedy or even Tyler in a porno? I mean, seriously, that would be one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Have you ever wondered if you had an opportunity to be in porno, Tyler? What would be your porno name? I'd like to know. What would you call yourself in a porno movie?
With all the sports going on, this is what
I'm not being serious. This is something interesting to me.
No,
I'm asking you if there was a name, a porno name that you would pick out, what would it be?
I knew I should have had another shot. I knew it. I knew one more shot is what I needed before I came here.
How about this?
I was wrong again. I should have had the shot.
Duff-free Washington. I like that. Duff-free Washington. What do you think? You like that? How about that?
Are you still talking?
I'm serious. I think it would be a great name for you. No Duff-free. Huh?
Whatever you say. What did you call yourself? Beat Master?
The Beat Master,
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
you
you're a
know, you
master,
can call me the Beat Master. You know,
You're a master,
I like to beat it. You know what I mean? Anyways, so
where's Brittany when we could actually validate if you beat it or not? We could actually get that validated.
You know what I'm going to do after the show? I'm going to take my marker and write, build a pair of breasts on your forehead. I think that would be something that you could look at, something that you barely get a chance to look at. So maybe if you have it on your forehead, you'll have an opportunity to really discover what you really are as a man. And that's a big breast. Okay. How's that sound? Does that sound good for you? All right.
Gate Master,
Anyways,
Gate Master, whatever you
yes.
name it.
Anyways, like I said, we will have Leigh Bodden joining us at 9:30. It will be fun. Definitely his thoughts on his career. We're going to talk about the divisional game. Absolutely. But first things first, I want to get into this coaching scurade in the NFL. And coaching scurade. Yeah. It's interesting because right now the New York Giants are really out of all the teams that are going to be looking for coaches and GMs, the Giants are the team that everybody says that most of these coaches and some of these GMs are really intrigued out of all the teams. Now, the Giants right now are a rebuilding team. I don't know what you're intrigued about. And when you look at the big picture and who he is, who the Giants are as an organization, you wonder where they're going to go when it comes to their GM, because they're going to pick their GM first before they bring in the coach. Now, Brian Flores is a big name and definitely a name on their radar. I've heard the offensive coordinator for Buffalo, Dable, is another big name. And there are three candidates that seem like they're slowly are starting to push forward as the lead guys. There's one from San Francisco. I forget his name. He's one of the lead guys.
Mike McDaniel. Yeah, their offensive coordinator is getting a lot. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the GM.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The GM from San Francisco that's under John Lynch. He's a guy. I'll get the name, by the way. The three big candidates. Actually, you should find the name, Speedy. The Buffalo Bills. I think he's the assistant GM.
Joe Shub.
Yep. He's the other guy. And then there's the guy, if I'm not mistaken, it was San Francisco, the Bills.
And the Chiefs was the other finalist. Yes. But it looks like he's going to be the Vikings
Peters
guy.
Is the guy from San Francisco.
It seems
and Ryan Poles.
Yeah, but Poles seems like he's going to be the Vikings guy from everything I'm reading right now. So it's likely he goes there. I think the Bills guy's the lead right now for the Giants position at the moment.
So if he lands with the Giants, it's usually he's going to bring in his own coach, and it'll probably be Dable. And that's another Bill Belichick disciple. We've seen Joe Judge. Joe Judge got the job about 2 years ago. And everybody loved him when he came in. He was a lot of comparison to a guy like Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, cutthroat guy, doesn't really talk to the press. He's not a press guy. It's very, very interesting when you look at the type of coach the Giants have looked for or tried to find after Tom Coughlin, and they failed. Ben McAdoo, they struck out. Pat Shurmur, they struck out. Mm-hmm. And now Joe Judge, that's the trifecta. What are they going to do if Dable isn't the guy? Now, this team has been craving a coach. Dable has done a fantastic job with Josh Allen. But even if you bring in the GM or the assistant GM from Buffalo, why would you just say, there in a nutshell, that Dable would be the guy? Bieniemy is a great coach. A lot of people think that the next offensive position when it comes to coaching that opens up, and it might not be the Giants. Maybe the Giants aren't looking for an offensive guy. Maybe they're looking for a defensive guy. But they brought in a guy like Joe Judge, who was a wide receiving coach for the Patriots. They struck out on him. And I see what CJ says. Mike McCarthy is a bum, and Dak Prescott is overrated, and the Cowboys got what they deserve.
It's been 4 days.
Sorry, not sorry. But to me, when you look at the big picture of where the Giants are going, Speedy, you're a Giants fan. Is Dable the answer to this team? Because it wasn't Joe Judge, it wasn't Pat Shurmur, and it was Ben McAdoo. It wasn't Ben McAdoo. And you're lacking what Tom Coughlin has built a culture since 2002, when he came in. He brought in his quarterback, Eli Manning. And I told all the fans when I started doing this show years and years ago, it was about 7 years ago when I started this show, I said that when Eli Manning decides to retire, the Giant fans are going to regret what they say about him. And now, since Eli Manning has been gone, this team has not seen the playoffs. This team has not seen anything, not seen a light of the day. And now they're looking, and everybody says, oh, let's blame it on Daniel Jones. This isn't Daniel Jones' fault. This has a lot to do with coaching. This has a lot to do with the GM. Gettleman has been absolutely horrible at really bringing in free agents. He didn't draft that bad. I mean, brought him some good players, but a lot of these guys didn't transition into the players they thought he was going to be. Saquon Barkley has been an absolute bust since they brought him in and they drafted him. A bust. Not because he's not good. He can't stay healthy. They brought in Kenny Golladay last year. That was their prize offseason. Kenny Golladay.
For all of 0 touchdowns.
21 touchdowns in his career. And what was it? 3,000 yards. And they gave him a $76 million contract. And let's see what they did with their offensive line, which has been an absolute horrendous position to find in the draft. Hernandez, they drafted. And I think, was that Gettleman that drafted Hernandez?
That was his first year, yep.
Hernandez, where everybody loved him. He fell to the second round, and everybody was like, oh, what a steal in the second round. He has been an absolute horrendous player for the New York Giants as a guard. They bring in Nate Solder, okay, from the Patriots, and he was a champion with the Patriots. What has he done? They gave him $50 million contract.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Overpaid at the time. I actually thought, all right, it's an offensive lineman. I'll take it. It's better than what they have. And he was even worse than that.
Gave him a $50 million contract. And what has he been? He's been injured, and he's been nothing from what he was with the Patriots. And because the Patriot way is, it doesn't matter how good the offensive linemen are. It really doesn't. It's really how fast you can get the ball out of your hands. Tom Brady is one of the best in the league at figuring out and seizing what he sees on the field and using those short passes, those 6, 7, 8-yard pitch passes to the tight end / wide receivers like Edelman and Wes Welker. Or how about their running back / wide receivers that can catch the ball in the backfield? That's what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels has built. Even the defense with Romeo Cannell over the last years and years that have been there. And not Vrabel, but he was a part of the linebacking coaching over there. And what you've seen for the Patriots, everybody's trying to mimic the Patriots, and it's not easy to mimic the Patriot team because, one, Bill Belichick is one of the greatest or the greatest coach of all time. And then they had Tom Brady, arguably one of the top 3 quarterbacks to ever play the game. So you can't mimic something that you don't have the players or the player to fill into that spot. Now, Speedy, you're a Giant fan. You're looking at the Giants right now this offseason. Are you going to be excited if they bring in the assistant GM from the Buffalo Bills and Dable? Are you going to be excited for that? Or maybe you take a long shot, you bring in a GM that you didn't expect, and you bring in a Bieniemy, or you bring in a Brian Flores or a Jim Harbaugh. What do you do to really get the fans excited next offseason?
Brian Flores and
next season.
Brian Flores and Eric Bieniemy are definitely my 2 tops in terms of coaches. Dable, I like. I'm a little skeptical of him in comparison to where he was last year. I don't think he did as well as an offensive coordinator this year. I think it was a lot more of the players. And as a lot of people have criticized the Bills for in the past, they oftentimes can be one-dimensional. I also think the offensive line really hasn't played as well for Buffalo either. So I think that might have something to do with it as well. But I do like it from a culture standpoint. So I wouldn't mind that either. I love the GM idea, though, because I think Brandon Beane has been a very good GM for Buffalo. I think he's drafted very well. He's filled needs very nicely. And he's really been very consistent in the draft process really since he's gotten there in 2017. So I would be encouraged by that. I'm a little skeptical more with the 49ers one because John Lynch has done some good things, but he's also given out a lot of bad contracts too, which I really can't afford the Giants to have right now. So I really hope he could learn from that mantra if they do bring in the 49ers guy. But it'll be interesting to see if Brian Flores will still be available by the time they bring in the GM, though, too, because he's already getting a lot of other positions. The Texans are pushing really hard for him, being that Nick Caserio is a former Patriots guy and Brian Flores is a former Patriots guy. So he's probably out of the question. I would think Dable is probably the most likely candidate for the Giants right now, which I wouldn't mind at all. They're not required to hire an offensive guy just because they have a young quarterback, but it definitely is the wave of the league now.
How about you, Mr. Giant fan, or whatever you are, Saints fan, who's sitting there reading his phone, Tindering, or whatever the hell you're doing, not concentrating on the damn show, which is really pissing me off. Really pissing me off. And you do this all the time. And it's really getting on my nerves.
Well,
concentrate on the show. That's
I
why you're
was
E
here.
waiting for
That's
Speedy
why
to be
you're
done
here.
talking.
I
You
don't
were
care.
talking
You don't
to
look
Speedy.
down. Look at what we're doing. I don't understand you.
How do you look at a conversation?
When we get Leigh Bodden on, or we get all these other guys on, you're all very aware. You want to get involved with the conversation. Get in the show, or if you're not going to get in the show, get the hell out of here. I'm being serious. This is pissing me off. If you're not going to be here, your head's not going to be in the show, don't stay here because it's pissing me off. You do this all the effing time, and I'm getting pissed off. Concentrate on the show. If you don't want to be here, leave.
You weren't
Simple.
talking to me.
Yeah, well, I'm getting tired of it. I see it all the time, and I don't want to see it anymore. Get involved with the show. If you don't want to be here, get out of here. That's it. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm getting fed up with you sitting here and looking down at your phone the whole show and not being involved in the conversation. Now, what do you think the Giants need to do? Because I'm pissed off at you now.
I think the Giants need to get it right, quite frankly.
That's it. That's the great Tyler Harrison.
What do you want me to say? They need to get it right. That's the important thing. Doesn't matter who it is.
You're an embarrassment. You really are. You're really pissing me off. You did that. You do this all the time, and I don't say anything. I'm getting fed up with it. Sitting you watching, look at the Tinder, swiping your phone.
I wasn't.
Yeah, whatever the hell you're doing, get your head into the show.
I was watching the sports.
Well, good. Watch the sports. Watch the sports when you're home. Okay, we're on a radio show. We're a sports show, and we're talking sports. And with your head on the apron or whatever the hell you're doing over there, it is absolutely embarrassing that you do that. It is embarrassment, and just keep your head into it. So I'm going to ask you again: what do you think the Giants need to do?
I want the Bills guy because the Bills guy is going to go get Bill Belichick. That's what he's going to go do. You happy now?
What was that?
The Bills guy should be the guy the Giants go get because Bill Belichick will come to the Giants if that's the case. There, you happy now? Now go ahead, shred apart. Belichick's not leaving the Patriots. Blah, 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 blah,
Bill
blah,
Belichick
blah.
is never leaving the Patriots. Bill
All right,
Belichick
then.
is
Don't think
almost
so.
Bill Belichick is almost what, 75 years old? 70,
if he leaves the
76 years.
Patriots, it's going to be for the Giants.
He's not leaving the Patriots. Why would
That's
he
it.
leave the Patriots? If he was going to leave the Patriots, he would have left them 2 years ago when Tom Brady
Who knows
left.
why? Maybe he's sick of Robert Kraft. Maybe Robert Kraft's sick of Bill Belichick. Maybe Robert Kraft wants Josh McDaniels to finally take over the job that he's been saying for the past 5 years he's his. Who knows?
Bill Belichick makes more money than any coach in the NFL.
And you don't think the Giants is going to use a blank check?
He
Fix
runs
us?
he runs the Patriots organization practically. He drafts practically everybody. He gets and he brings in any free agent he
You're
possibly
not listening
wants.
to me. If Robert Kraft is sick of him, it doesn't matter what he runs. He doesn't want to be there. Robert Kraft is going to get rid of him.
Robert Kraft
can't stand him.
First of all, we'll go into this here because it doesn't really make any sense.
Robert, why would I talk?
Why would Robert? No, because it doesn't make sense what you're saying. Why would Robert Kraft be sick of somebody that has brought you 6 Super Bowls? I mean, seriously.
Personality-wise, he cannot stand him, and he wanted to keep Brady over Belichick.
Brady didn't want to be there anymore.
That's not true. They didn't give him a contract.
Brady didn't want to be there anymore.
That's bullshit. If they would have gave him a contract and Belichick was the way out, he would have gotten rid of Belichick and Brady would have stayed.
Brady got
That's
off.
point blank.
First of all, Brady wanted to win more Super Bowls, and he didn't believe at the time that the Patriots were good enough to win Super Bowls.
What was the contract they gave him?
What do you mean?
What was the contract offer they gave him?
What did they not offer him? You don't know
didn't
what they
offer him
offered
anything.
How do you know?
That's what Jeff came on the show and said.
Okay.
Right? Mr. Magic Man, he's always right too.
I didn't
All
say-
right.
I didn't
He
say he
came
was
on
right.
here saying they didn't offer him a contract. So he knows he's
First
got
of all-
ins. I'm going to take his word for it.
First of all, it doesn't matter. Listen, to me, I think Brady was done. I think he was done with the Patriots. I think he wanted to see what he can do without Bill Belichick.
Win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, and he won a Super Bowl
he
without
did.
Bill Belichick.
Yes,
he
he
wanted
did.
to prove that he can do it without Bill Belichick,
He
and he
did.
wants to continue doing what he is doing right now. I think the same thing with Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick wants to prove that he could do it without Tom Brady.
That's fine. So why wouldn't you go to a team with a young quarterback and Daniel Jones? Right now he drafted Mac Jones, so I'm not saying Mac Jones is better than Daniel.
Why would he go to a team that just
But
fired your assistant? You just fired your assistant, Joe Judge. You had his.
Joe Judge wasn't going to take a demotion to get Belichick.
I'm not talking about that.
So
why would he go to
You
a
needed
team?
to fire his assistant.
Why would he go to a team, okay, that just fired one of his assistants? It doesn't make sense.
Because his assistant was a walking clone of him.
Okay, so why would you bring him in?
The
if he's a
original is
walking
always
clone?
better than a clone.
Yeah. Oh, I understand that, and I'm not
Okay,
saying
then.
that Joe Judge is anywhere close to Bill Belichick.
I'm not saying you are, but the team will respect Bill Belichick before he walks through the door.
The Giants have a better chance of getting Josh McDaniels than Bill Belichick.
That's fine too. He'd be a hell of a get too.
I think that
Brian, I'm with the Brian Flores thing has a lot of smoke because Deshaun Watson will go wherever Flores goes.
So hold on.
That's where that's the link. That's why Flores is gaining traction because teams that want Flores know Deshaun Watson's coming too. That's the thing.
You don't know that because I don't know if teams are willing to give up first-round draft picks for him. They're going to still, even though Deshaun Watson, with all the problems he has on and off the field, Deshaun Watson is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. So you're not going to just get him for nothing. And teams like the Giants, let's say they bring in Brian Flores. The Giants aren't going to give up a stock of first-round draft picks for Deshaun Watson. Now, I could see the Broncos doing it. I could see Philadelphia doing it.
The Giants will do it. I'm saying whoever gets Brian Flores is going to get Deshaun Watson because that's Flores' guy. That's pretty much the worst kept secret in the NFL right now.
Well, I think, and we're going to get Leigh Bodden on in just a few moments.
Why they fired what's his name? Because once Flores became available.
Who did they
fire?
fire?
I'm trying to think of the Texans guy.
The Texans guy, the guy that they brought in for 1 year and then they fired him.
Yeah,
they
I don't remember his name.
I'll tell you why they fired him. And it was a reason why they fired him. It's not because of Deshaun Watson. It's not even because of David Mills, who I think David Mills should be the starting quarterback next year, not Deshaun Watson. They should try to move on from Deshaun Watson. David Mills is a quiet kid that played very, very well from Stanford.
They have no choice.
What do you mean they have no choice?
They have no choice. They have to move on from Watson. He doesn't want to be there. He clearly just showed you he's not coming.
If they interview Brian Flores, it doesn't mean that they're just going to he's going to completely walk away from the Texans. Okay. So again, if Brian Flores he somehow gets the job from the Texans and people say he is the lead guy to get him from the Texans. So again, Brian Flores is the big name right now on the market. He is the number one coach out of all the coaches that are going to be available.
He shouldn't even be fired.
He shouldn't have been fired. But to me, he's going to go where he has the best chance to win. I know the Bears are going to interview him. He doesn't have the best chance to win with the Bears. He'll probably interview with the Broncos. I don't think he fits very well with the Broncos. The two teams that I think he fits
in very well with the Broncos.
I don't think he does. I really don't think he does. I think the Broncos need an offensive coordinator. They need an offensive coach. They had one of the best defensive coaches in all of the NFL. They had one of the best defensive coaches.
They did.
And they got rid of him. So now,
because your offense didn't do anything.
Exactly, and that's why
on the floor too long.
That's why you need to bring in an offensive coordinator.
But Flores fixed the Miami the Miami Dolphins offense.
The Miami Dolphins, or you mean the Broncos?
Brian Flores fixed the Dolphins offense. The offense played better on.
But
the
he's
Flores.
gone. He's not with the Miami
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
But if on the Broncos, he fixed both boxes.
I don't think
so
he does.
I'm going with him.
I'm going to bring in the best offensive guy that's available. That's what I think.
Oh.
And it seems like Dan Quinn is a big name that right now everybody wants. I don't know why, but he did go to the Super Bowl. He did lose against the Patriots. He did have a 28-3 lead practically going into the fourth quarter.
But he's a defensive guy.
Exactly. I'm not saying the Broncos are the lead team to get him. There are teams that are interested in Dan Quinn. The two teams that are going to be looking for offensive-minded coaches, one, and I just told you, the Broncos. They're not going to bring in a defensive-minded coach. And if I were the Bears, I would go offense too, because you have a young quarterback. You just gave up a stock of draft picks for, and you need to rebuild around that young quarterback. He is your franchise. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking to former Browns, Lions, and Patriots cornerback Leigh Bodden here on the Sports Loudmouths.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, we are the Sports Loudmouths. You can call us at 631-672-3108. Download our app, ladies and gentlemen. How do you do that? You go to iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And check out our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And by the way, check out all our shows. Our shows today, our betting show, one of the best betting shows on the market right now. Check it out, Chaz and his team of great betting lines. What do they call them? Handicappers. Great handicaps. Top 50 handicappers in the country. Join Chaz. It is really a great show. And check out the Wise Guys. They're great too as well. Every single Thursday. Anyways, Speedy was telling me we were going to get this guy on the last 3 days he was going to get this guy on, and we finally land him. We are now talking to former Browns, Lions, and Patriots cornerback Leigh Bodden. What's going on, Leigh?
Ain't nothing, man. How you guys doing, man?
Well, we're back and forth bantering about the playoffs and where the Giants need to go when it comes to coaching and GM position. And the Giants, Leigh, you know this. Over the last 7 years, the Giants have been one of the worst teams in the National Football League. A very well-respected organization. Absolutely. Tom Coughlin, Bill Parcells. And by the way, the only team that knocked off your New England Patriots before the Eagles did. So how are you doing? Retired? And how's your family doing with this whole COVID-19 situation?
Oh, man. Retirement has been enjoyable, man. I've been retired for pretty much 10 years now, a whole decade. Last game I played was 2011. And again, we in 2022 now. So I've been enjoying it. Family is dealing with COVID just fine, man. We take care of our immune system. So that's the main thing that we talk about here because I know health, is the most important thing. Obviously playing football, it was exercise, it was health, it was eating right. And that's what I just kept maintaining, throughout the life and with my family. So we all good over here, man. And retirement life has been fun. I've been traveling the world, meeting a lot of different people, obviously doing business. Now I'm running for county executive. So it's a lot of things going on in my life, man. And, still watching and checking up on some football. It's always some good games on, good competition out there.
Well, you were drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and they weren't a very top-notch organization when you were there, obviously. But they're slowly building Baker Mayfield. They bring in Myles Garrett in the draft. This team has slowly but surely built some kind of reputation as a more smash-mouth team. What are your thoughts from when you started with the Cleveland Browns and where they've really built their team as a world AFC conglomerate?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't drafted. I was undrafted by Cleveland in 2003. Mm-hmm. But again, spent my first 5 years there. And to be honest, I think they found something with Baker Mayfield. I think, they have stuck with him for, I don't know how many years it's been. It's been, quite some time.
4 years.
He has had, 4 years. I was going to say 5. I didn't want to, make that mistake. But he's had some coaching changes, ups and downs. But I think, to be honest, that's where Cleveland, their problem has been for a long time. My rookie year, we had Tim Couch, Kelly Holcomb, and they were kind of going back and forth and didn't really choose which one to stick with. And I feel like, as you see, the recipe for success with football and teams are coaches and quarterbacks, you know what I mean? And no carousel, not having a carousel and having that cohesive, bond between the head coach and the quarterback. So that's been the issue. But I mean, you've seen with Cleveland these past few years, they've been, securing the defense, getting cornerbacks, linemen, linebackers. They have receivers, running backs, tight ends. So they have, everything that they need, but the quarterback needs to be solidified. Obviously, Baker Mayfield played well last year, but then this season, it's kind of up and down. So, you secure that quarterback position and he gets better, or if they move on and get somebody else, that's going to be the thing that Cleveland needs to get over that hump. But again, last year, I mean, they were there. They were right there, but then they took a step back this year. So it's like, do you go one more year with Baker to see, if he can repeat, last season? Again, that's a GM's decision, and it's a tough one to make. But again, that quarterback position is what is needed to move far in the playoffs. Obviously, or in the NFL, I mean, you see every playoff team has a really good quarterback. So that's really going to get you far in the NFL.
So a lot of the guys you play with on the Browns are a lot of talented defensive players. You had a guy like DeQuell Jackson, Andre Davis, linebacker. You have Willie McGinnis for a couple of years. Eric Wright, your fellow other side cornerback, was pretty good as well. So what were some of those players like? And also Romeo Crennel when he came over there as the head coach.
Man, listen, I mean, we had a ton of talent over there. And Romeo, I feel like he was turning the program around. To be honest, my last year there in 2007, we went 10-6. We missed the playoffs by a game. We didn't win an AFC game that could have, catapulted us and put us in the seat to be in the playoffs. But, then that next year, they traded me. They were getting rid of players that, helped get us to that point. And like the GM and the coaches weren't on the same page. But I feel like you named a lot of great players. I mean, we had Kellen Winslow Jr., Braylon Edwards, Derek Anderson on the offensive end, Josh Cribbs. I mean, we had a stacked team, in my opinion. Had a really good defense, really good offense. And I feel like if they would have kept, some of those pieces there, I mean, we could have done some really good things there, but they kind of blew it up. The GM did. And, it's business at the end of the day. You realize that when you get into the NFL. And it's crazy. It's like they don't even want to win games, man. They just want to, I mean, it's about the dollar and, getting guys cheap or whatever it is, or not paying guys or whatever, the reason is. But I think if we'd have kept that team, we'd have really did some really good things, I think.
Now, Leigh, you kind of had a strain of odd luck, we'll say. You went from Cleveland, who was 10-6, as you had mentioned, and then you go to the 0-16 Lions.
Right.
After that year, you had a lot of headaches. And then the next year, you go to New England and stumble upon the Belichick way, and Brady's there, Randy Moss. What was the biggest difference between going to New England and everywhere else?
Well, the biggest difference was they knew what they wanted. And I would say I would go back to Cleveland because Romeo Crennel was there in New England for some championships. So he knew what it took. But again, he was just getting there. So just solidifying who he was as a coach and what that organization was doing, like I said. And I think, again, he got there in 05, 06, 07. So that was 3 years. And I think after his fourth year, I want to say they might have let him go, fourth or fifth year. But I think to answer your question, what was different was the expectations of what everything was already solidified. You were just going into a machine, what Belichick built. And again, you hear the Patriot way, and it's really the Patriot way is, again, the expectations are, hey, let's win a division. We're going to the playoffs, win a division, and make it to the Super Bowl. And everybody, the energy, the work ethic, the way everybody was team oriented, it was just evident ever since you walked in a locker room. Where it was different in Detroit, and in Cleveland again. I was a young guy, and then we had Butch Davis was the coach, and then that's when they transferred over to Romeo Crennel. And then so, you kind of got a bit of both, or different type of organizations, different type of things that coaches wanted to do. But I feel like I got a little bit of taste of what New England was with Romeo Crennel, but it's hard when you're just getting there, you know what I mean, and trying to start fresh. Belichick had it already for, a number of years. So it was just an easy transition. And again, it was a happy one to go from 0-16 to a team that's, making the playoffs automatically.
We are talking to former Browns, Lions, and Patriots corner Leigh Bodden. Now, Leigh, you play cornerback position, and the corner position has really developed in the NFL. You talk about Darrelle Revis, and you talk about Cromartie, and you talk about some of the greats that you played with, and the growth of the cornerback position. When you look at the game and how it's transitioned from the offensive side of the ball with the wide receivers, and it opens up, do you think it's harder now to play at the corner in the NFL than it ever has been?
Absolutely. I mean, even the times where we played, like you said, you naming those Darrelle Revis and Cromartie's, and I mean, it was difficult because I could tell you it was times where I feel like, okay, you got 5 yards to jam a guy. I remember I jammed a guy like twice in 5 yards, and the ref told me, he was like, you can't do that. Because what I did was I jammed him, took my hand off of him, and then jammed him again. He was like, once you jam him, you got to stay on him. He was like, next time that's a penalty. I was like, what? But pass interference, hitting defenseless receivers, you're getting fined, you're getting penalized, you're hurting your team, but you're making football plays, and it's so difficult. Again, they're throwing back shoulders, they're protecting the quarterback, so the quarterback's, getting a lot of, time in a pocket, or sometimes guys don't want to hit them certain ways. So, and that's given, these quarterbacks, obviously they're in the NFL for a reason, and if they have no, pressure and not worrying about getting hit or anything, they're going to put these things on a dime, and it's tough, to be able to play these back shoulders, and you can't touch guys. They're going to call a lot of interference calls. So it's definitely tougher now, again, as it's becoming more and more offensive game, to play the defensive back position.
So in your career, who was the toughest wide receiver that you've had to guard? There are a lot of ones in your division too. Bengals.
Yeah,
and Steelers,
exactly. It's a lot. Again, Ocho Cinco is always, top on the list. Obviously, I had to see him twice a year, and he runs some of the best comebacks you'll ever see, because I mean, you don't know if he's running a go or he's running a comeback. I tell people this all the time. Two people, when I went to Detroit, Roy Williams, he asked me, man, damn, about Chad's routes. He was like, man, how do you guard that? And then going to New England, I don't know if you guys remember, Ocho Cinco played in New England for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And Tom, he was talking to me on the sideline one time. He was like, man, Chad, his comebacks are crazy. Anytime we call a comeback to him, I'm going to throw it to him, because, he's usually open on those. So I would say him, and I say a lot of, obviously, Randy Moss, one of the greats of all times. And Andre Johnson is one of the ones too, that I played him maybe like three times, and all tough battles with him. And again, the list goes on. Marvin Harrison, he was, I mean, you wouldn't, he's just so shifty. And Mark Clayton, too, Derek Mason, those guys from Baltimore, those guys were tough. Now I could go again. It's a long list of people, but I would say again, Ocho was one of the toughest. Randy and Andre Johnson, and man, I can again keep going on and on. There were some tough guys that I played against, but held my own though. You know what I mean, and got a lot of respect from every last one of those receivers that I named on and off the field.
Absolutely. You had a great career. I don't know if they mentioned this yet, but you led both New England and Cleveland in interceptions, I believe, multiple years.
Yes, absolutely.
So
yeah. I mean,
out there on the corner of the field. Now, I'm going to ask something, a little curveball for you here, since you mentioned county executive. The NFL now, we see that they're adding games and subtracting preseason games. They're adding on now another week. There's rumors they want 20 weeks.
Mm.
Kind of want to expand the playoff format. As somebody that's trying to get in the political field here, how do you think the NFLPA should handle what the players are going to ask for, obviously, when the longer seasons continue?
Oh man, if I'm the president, I'm asking for everything, any and everything, because again, you putting these guys, their careers on the line. I mean, you pushing it more and more, their bodies. 16 games was already a long season. Trust me, I've been there. But even again, those preseason and training camps were grueling too. So those are already, tough weeks. But then to add it to weeks where it's going to be hyper competitive and super competitive, we know injuries happen all the time, and that's just increasing, the injuries. And so, these are people's livelihoods. This is, people that are going to have problems after football, and how are you going to help them after football? But I would say help them during football and after football. And I would just, play hardball until they get exactly what they want, and don't back down, because like I always said, without the players, it's no league. You know what I mean? So you should be able to get what you want, whatever you want. Again, that's anything. The consumers are always the boss. You know what I mean? Because if I stop going to Walmart, if we stop going to Walmart, they not gonna have no money. You know what I'm saying? And so if the players stop going to the games, the NFL not gonna have the product and any money. Well, and they do get revenue from the TV deal. That's why they kind of don't care. But still, I mean, people gonna be pissed off if they don't see no football. So the players should hold out and get whatever they want. Maximum dollars, maximum protection for medical, and I feel like they got to play hardball with the league. And I tell you what, Gene Upshaw, I don't know if y'all know Gene Upshaw. He used to be the president of the NFLPA, and that's how he was. He would come talk to us, and he would say what wasn't going to happen and what was going to happen. And man, and to be honest, when he died, there were talks about, they were in bargaining agreement, when he died, and then they stopped once he died. And the things that Gene Upshaw said we weren't going to do as players, as a union, when the new people came in, we did exactly what he didn't want to do. And so I think the players got to get back to taking control. I mean, you see the NBA, their players association is a little different than the NFL's. The players really play hardball with them, and I think it's time for the NFL players to play hardball with the NFL.
Absolutely agree with you. We are talking to former Browns, Lions, and Patriots cornerback Leigh Bodden. So, Leigh, we went through a little bit of your career. Let's go. Let's go to the playoffs right now. And
okay,
the wild card games were this past week. A lot of craziness. Nobody would have thought that 4 of the 6 games were going to be blowouts.
Right.
And Kyler Murray showed that he was a rookie.
Right.
Matthew Stafford showed everybody that he could play in the playoffs. He's not just a regular season quarterback, and that he could play for a good team. What really stuck out to you in the first week of the playoffs, the wild card games? Was it the Cowboys and that ridiculous play call at the end of the game? What really stood out to you that either bothered you or you just see the transition of the game just changing?
Well, I mean, to be honest, what stood out to me was like Tom Brady. I hate to say it, and be cliche. I mean, he's just a masterful, artist when it comes to football, man. And it just shows his dominance. And I feel like, they're the team to beat. I mean, even though, we talk about Green Bay, obviously the number 1 seed, but, that to me, because it's just so crazy that, again, Tom Brady is doing what he's doing and has an opportunity to go back to back with how they are playing right now. But again, I mean, Dallas is Dallas, man. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really.
Don't say that to any of the Dallas fans.
I
Doesn't have
mean,
a heart attack.
And Dallas season ticket holders.
listen, I have a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans because I'm here in the Washington D.C. area, and it's either the Washington football team or the Dallas Cowboys. So I have a lot of friends, and I had to check up on them, man. You know what I mean? After the game, but I think, to me that's what stood out, man. To be honest, I hate to kind of be cliche, but it's just it's dumbfounded, that this guy has the possibility of doing back to back. And how old is he?
44.
44 years old. Like to me, that stands out. But obviously we got another week to go. I don't see blowouts, but shit, you never know, man.
I want to go back to when you were with the Patriots. I mean, Bill Belichick's never thought of as somebody that speaks a lot when he's in the press conferences and all that, but seems to be a very interesting guy off the field sometimes from what we've heard. What is the most interesting thing that you found out of Bill Belichick behind the scenes, kind of, and what is the most interesting thing he said to you?
Well, behind the scenes, I mean, he's just a normal guy, man. He comes down to Maryland a lot because lacrosse, I think his daughter plays lacrosse. So just how much of a person he is, because sometimes even me playing in NFL, you see him and the aura of him, it kind of looks mystique and like, he's not a human, you know what I mean? But then you sit across from him in his office and he's just, talking regular. But to be honest, and the thing about, and he has a sense of humor, man. And I tell people that all the time. It's a little dry, but it's funny, and he'll do it for a little bit, but it's right back to business, you know what I mean, when it's time to play on the field. But I think, one of the things, I mean, that was interesting to me of just about talking to me, like he knew a lot about me, before I signed, I'm there in his office and he knew my background, me being from Maryland. And he brought that connection there. And again, him liking how I play. Like it's crazy to hear that from, one of the best coaches out there. And, him telling me, I was the best corner on the team at one point, in 2009. Because to be honest, like he benched me one game. And then I was like, man, Bill, what you bench me for? And so they put up a film together about, on some plays, good and bad. And then him and I watched it. And he was like, well, I'm glad we watched this. He's like, you're one of our best corners. And I'm like, what the hell? Did you not, believe that or think that already? But no, so just the confidence that he had in me and showed in me and letting me know that I was a good player. That's always good to hear when you're a player and hear that from your head coach. And I do have to say, going back to that, sorry, the blowout by Buffalo was like, that was crazy to me. I didn't foresee that. I mean, I thought Buffalo had the edge against them. But man, I did not believe that that one would be a blowout for sure.
The last time the Patriots got blown out like that was against the same Buffalo Bills. So that was last year. So
okay.
And they lost, I think, by 32 points or something like that. So this isn't the first time this has happened. And Bill Belichick, after what happened in the regular season and how really the first game the Patriots completely dominated, even though it wasn't
the weather.
It wasn't a fun game to watch, but Buffalo won in New England, and everybody was talking about this game. Buffalo really wanted to come out, and they wanted to come out to prove that they were the better team, and they did that.
Right, and they did that. And see, me just knowing Bill, I felt like, okay, he would, devise something to be able to, stop them or at least, slow the Buffalo Bills down. But I mean, Josh Allen just proved and showed that, I mean, he's just a different animal, because he can use his legs. He can get out the pocket, and he's just a great quarterback, in the pocket as well. So, I mean, he's a tough guy to face.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, well, I don't know if he's got questions, but I'd feel remiss if we didn't ask for your Super Bowl prediction, being that, it is not going to be too far from now. and we are getting narrowed down with the teams.
We all know who he's going to pick. He's going to pick Tampa and Tom Brady. We know that.
Tom Brady's got to play somebody.
Hey, listen. I mean, listen. That's one thing I cannot bet against Tom. You just can't do it. I mean, and to be honest, Todd Bowles, that was my defensive back coach in Cleveland. He was the assistant defensive back coach when I was there in Cleveland, and he's a great mind as far as defense. Bruce Arians, he was actually offensive coordinator in Cleveland as well. So
wow, you got some roots down there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, some roots. So again,
help, you know.
Huh?
They need another corner down there.
He wants to do legislation. He wants to do political stuff. He doesn't want that anymore.
Nah, yeah, I'm too old. I'm too old, man. I can't do that. But no. So I feel like that their defense is well coached, and again, they have Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich, which is a good coach as well. I mean, calling great plays. So I think they have and it's not just Tom. You know what I mean? Even though he's obviously on the field. You know, the field general, but it's everybody that's helping them around. And then, I mean, again, just what I just said, man, I feel like Buffalo. I mean,
Buffalo, huh?
I'm reaching with Buffalo because Josh Allen, I mean, last year they had they got out, prematurely. And I think, I mean, he's matured. He showed to me that, again, not only can he do it in a regular season, but now, I mean, doing it in the playoffs against a well-coached team with Bill Belichick. Josh Allen, might be able to do. I mean, their defense, their safeties, I like their safeties. Their D-line is pretty good, and their defense is solid. So, again, and well-coached. So, I mean, I would say those two teams.
So he's got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl.
I
So
agree with him.
there you go. Well, you got Tampa because you're
I don't have Tampa.
He had Bills 49ers at the start of the season.
I know San Francisco months ago.
Well, as everybody knows, we are talking to former Browns, Lions, and Patriots corner Leigh Bodden. Before we let you go, and this is the last question for all of us, one of our fans keep mentioning, ask him about the butt fumble. I am a Jet fan. You were there when the butt fumble happened with Mark Sanchez. Do you remember that? Is that something that really stuck out to you in your career when you had the experience to watch what Mark Sanchez did as a New York Jet?
Yeah, no, I mean, it didn't stick out to me like in the game, but obviously afterwards, everybody's talking about it. And so it looks crazy. You know what I mean? Once you rewind it and talk about it, and it's just you could probably find a few plays like that, but they highlighted it because New York media, Mark Sanchez did turn the ball over quite a bit. But to be honest, man,
you had an interception in that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but he's going down in history for that. You know what I mean? He'll never live that down because, again, I mean, the media just played it over and over and over. And but again, I mean, it's a routine, like running into your guy. Well, I wouldn't say routine, but but those type of things do happen. Yeah. And sometimes that causes it. But again, it's highlighted because it was Mark Sanchez. That is the New York media. He did have a lot of turnovers. In that stretch. So, and it was a game to where, it compiled, you know what I mean? It was just
every time you guys, and I hate to say this, I'm a Jet fan. Every time the Patriots play the Jets, AKA, we all know what Sam Darnold said, what was it, last year, saying that he saw ghosts. It seems like every time the Jets play the Patriots in New England, there's something that happens, and the butt fumbles. I mean, Mark Sanchez won 4 away games in the playoffs, and the first thing they remember is the butt fumble. That's all they care about is that night. And you had an interception. You were a big part of that game. You were one of the big players of that game. So that's why one of our fans, he keeps mentioning, ask him about the butt fumble. Ask him about the butt fumble.
Leigh, I grew up paranormal Patriots.
And see, but like you said, I mean, he won some playoff games. I think they were in the AFC Championship game. I mean, he did, he did what he needs to do for that team. But a lot of times, again, that's going to be in a lot of people's minds, like Jets' minds, because again, the media, like, they played it a lot, and I mean, and it happens, so you can't, erase it. But
Don't tell that to Rex Ryan because he had a tattoo of him on his leg. So, and eventually, I think recently he just got it removed. So,
really,
yeah,
I didn't even know that.
That's what I heard. Yeah, he just recently got it removed.
I always feel bad for Brandon Moore because he was a good guard, and I always just get remembered for being the guy he ran into.
Exactly.
He has a big butt too.
I know, and he was a good guard too. I always feel bad for him.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't get out the way, man. Sanchez, he wasn't that mobile. You know what I mean?
Anyways, Leigh, tell the fans how they can find you on social media.
Oh man, everything Leigh Bodden, at Leigh Bodden, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Leigh Bodden. And again, man, I appreciate you, Loudmouths, man. Man, if y'all want to have me again, man, I would love to talk, more playoffs.
Absolutely.
But, great. It's a great show, man.
Thank you so much, and we would love to get you on again. Speedy, my producer, will reach out to you and get you on. We'd love to talk more football with you.
Finally, somebody salutes back. I do that to everybody. No one ever freaking acknowledges it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. You the man, man. I appreciate
and
you.
good luck in their political the way you're going with your politics and everything like that, because I think they, with everything going on in the world, they need good people in office trying to help people. There's so much craziness that's going on right now in the world. And with everything that's gone on, we all have to stick together because we're a country. And
absolutely. And that's really why I'm doing it, because politics a lot of times they don't care about the people, and I feel like the people, again, that's why they elect someone to be their representative, and they need a representative that's going to look back out for them. And so that's really what I want to do, because things haven't been different from when I grew up. So I want to be able to change, that. Hopefully I can, succeed. If not, I still help out my community every way I possibly can.
That's wonderful.
If you need a campaign mantra to go by, you could do leadership with the way you spell your first name.
And listen, and I do that a lot. I do put my first name in a lot of things like that. So, man, I might do that. I appreciate that.
That's a good,
you got to coin that, Speedy.
That's a good idea.
That's an NFT for you right there.
Right.
NFT. Anyways, Leigh, thank you for joining us. We'll definitely get you on again. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
As you guys know, we were just talking to former Browns, Lions, and Patriots corner Leigh Bodden. Awesome guy, man. Really
He's got
good.
my vote.
What?
He's got my vote.
He lives in Washington. I mean, how are you going to vote?
I'll vote. I'll travel.
You're going to travel over there? You have to be a resident for a year.
Mail-in ballot.
Oh, God, mail-in
Mail
ballot.
it in, baby.
Mail-in ballot. And that's what the president wants now. He doesn't want anybody voting that way.
Don't
mail-in ballots.
All right.
Well, are you going to vote for the president?
Who?
You know who I'm talking about, Biden, you idiot.
Joe Biden doesn't even remember his name, so
Oh,
I'm
that's
not going to
true.
remember it either.
I mean, we do know what's her name again? She wants to run. Obama, Michelle Obama wants to run, so maybe you vote for her.
Maybe.
Maybe. Could you imagine you running for president?
I'd shut this place down.
Tyler Harrison.
I'd send a SWAT team in here
The
immediately.
Duff. By the way, if you watch this show, we give him a new nickname, the Duff, and all you guys got to do is go check out what that nickname means, and it'll be perfect for you. Anyways, thank you, Leigh.
Thank you, guys. All right, peace.
Leigh Bodden's awesome, man. He really is awesome. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking to Pro Football PSI Player Evaluator Miguel Chapeton. Here, I'm just kidding, Miguel. We'll get you back here on the Sports Loudmouths.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, Let's Do Lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, we are the Sports Loudmouths. I'm the host, Daryl Marks, my co-host, PD, and Tyler Harrison. Remember, you can call us at 631-672-3108. You can download our app by going iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Also, check out our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Leigh Bodden, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome interview. And by the way, so sincere, such a good guy. You can tell he's just a really good Samaritan. And the NFL needs guys like that, not only in the politic. A lot of these NFL and these NBA and these NHL and MLB players, after they're done with their career, they want to go into politics. And I think you need that guy that's going to, support something, and not only support the people in the country, but support what they believe in, not only in sports, but really where the world is going and transitioning to. Our second guest, and by the way, I know how to pronounce your name. I just wanted to, kind of give you a little riff, but we are now talking to Pro Football PSI Player Evaluator, Miguel Chapeton. What's going on, Miguel?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on. You guys did a fantastic job with that Leigh Bodden interview, by the way. I caught the last few minutes of it, and it was fun.
Thank you. And Leigh's really, really good. I like when we get these guys and these ex-athletes, or even these great writers. We had Greg Bishop on last week, a Sports Illustrated senior writer, and he was writing a book. Very, very great. When it's really, really good when you can get a guy that tells you stories that you never even heard of, some of the different interviews, and Jim Gray. He wrote a book with Jim Gray on his life as a broadcaster and some of the great people that he's interviewed, the GOATs, and some amazing stories that he told us about Jimmy and, John Madden, Cooper Kupp. He was just that day he was hanging out with the Kupp family. Yep. So it's really, really interesting when you get to know the inside of some of these stories. And he said one of the best interviews he's ever had, and one of the greatest people he's ever hung out with, believe it or not, is Dak Prescott. So, and he told us a little bit. He's like, Dak Prescott's the type of guy that you can go to a bar. You wouldn't even care if he was a superstar football player, and you drink a beer with him like he was one of your buddies. So, very, very interesting story. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, on how you became, really with pro football and doing the PSI work and all the stuff that you're doing right now, and where did you really see yourself after graduating from college?
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. So I started with fantasy football, probably like you guys, way back when, way on Sporting News when I was in middle school. So it's a long time ago now. But obviously, as the social media became big and got on Twitter and saw that fantasy football was pretty big on there, and it was a really fun and unique community and a lot of cool people to talk to. Just really got involved and started kind of growing my account through there. At the same time, I was growing up in my career as an analyst, and one day the 2 and 2 just got put together. I was like, what if I take what I've learned in my day-to-day and apply it to something I really enjoy, which is fantasy football, and see what I can come up with. Because I've always enjoyed player evaluating. I mean, when I initially was going to school, I wanted to do sports management, and my dream job as a child was to be the general manager of the San Francisco Giants. That's what I wanted to be. Clearly that didn't happen, but I always thought that I was always really intrigued by player evaluation and how to get involved in that. And so this was kind of my first foray into that space, but obviously for football. And as I looked across the space, I thought the most interesting position was wide receivers. It seemed like people had probably the most, it just always generated kind of the most buzz around that position, because so many people had different takes on wide receivers, because they were really the hardest to kind of pin down, right? I think with running backs, you can see a lot through film, and it's pretty easy to like, are they athletic? Do they have breakaway speed? Can they catch the ball? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yeah, they're probably going to be pretty good. But with wide receiver, with wide receivers, it can be, you think you've got someone who's really, really good, and then all of a sudden they don't pan out, and you wonder, well, is there something I could have seen early on that would have been that red flag? And I think that's kind of what the question that intrigued me and what I would set out to go find. So that's how I kind of got started, and I've been doing it for 5 years now. I don't know. I'm losing track at this point. So I think it's about 5 years now, and I'm really enjoying it.
So I want to ask, I see those autographed helmets in the background. Do you have
Yes.
what are some of the backstory beyond that? How did you get all those?
Well, exactly what we're here to discuss today. So PSI, right? So I'm big on doing wide receivers, and so all of those are wide receivers back there, all who have I either really liked as prospects, and most of who've gone on to succeed. Just ignore the Jalen Reagor right there. But you've got Cortland Sutton, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson. I figured I'd get in and invest early. I'm like, if I'm finding these guys early, might as well invest and see if this I can turn it around and flip it in a few years for double my money or something.
Oh, you definitely will. I mean, they autographed it. It's going to be worth something.
So I figured it'd look cool, it'd be a good backdrop, great for obviously shows like this, and it's always a good talking point at work as well. Now that we're working from home.
I liked Reagor too, so I was wrong on that as well.
Yeah. Oh, I was big wrong on Reagor. It happens. No one's perfect.
No one's perfect at all. That's going to be a question we get back to later. But anyway, when you look at wide receivers, when you're doing your player analysis, besides obviously like the speed and the hands, because that's what everyone's going to look at, is there a stat you look at and go, this is going to be misleading, this guy isn't this good, or that's something that's going to be an eye-popping thing and this guy's going to excel in the NFL? Or is it really just as simple as this guy's breakaway speed and hands and he's going to just be amazing?
I'm not a film evaluator by any means, but I think the thing people talk about the most that I think matters the least, or is maybe overblown. I won't say matters the least because it does matter to some degree, but is overblown is route running. A lot of guys can make it look really good, but when they get to the NFL, all of a sudden that wasn't what separated them. So I think that's the really biggest talking point. And I think Jerry Jeudy's a really good one for that example, because when he was coming up through college, all you heard for about 3-4 years, however 3 years he was at Alabama, through the Devy community was he's the greatest route runner of all time. You were hearing comparisons to like he's going to be the next great thing, can't miss, blah 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 blah. And every time I went and looked at the stats and just looked at him, I'm like, he looks fine. Like, I'm not going to not like him, but there wasn't anything there that blew me away about him. And he's gotten in the NFL and he's been just fine. He hasn't been, he's not blowing the doors off like Jamar Chase that comes in and has.
He's also dealing with a lot of injuries. I mean, Jeudy has not been healthy since he's come into the league, and that's been a huge problem. His health. I think if he plays a full season, actually has a quarterback that could throw him. Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers goes over there and actually throws him the ball? Do you know how good Jerry Jeudy will be?
I don't think I would still put him in the top 12.
I
think he would. I think he would go on to be like a top 24 receiver and for sure have a good season, but he still isn't going to reach that peak hype that they gave him in college. And that's what I'm evaluating him against, right? Like if you're going to say he's the greatest of all time, here's Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase coming and blowing the doors off. Where's that? That's what you hyped on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were saying that he was going to do that, he already failed at that level, right? He could still go on to have some success, but I just don't see that prospect. So, and I think injuries or his potential for injuries was something that another analyst, I don't know if you've ever heard of Fusu Vu, or yes. I think now his name is Devy. Fusu. I might be butchering his Twitter handle, so apologies if he's listening. But he's kind of called that out, and that was always something that caught my attention. And then here you are in the NFL, and he's kind of battling some injuries. And, maybe fluky, but it's happening.
We are talking to Pro Football PSI Player Evaluator Miguel Chapeton. Miguel, this year's draft, this isn't one of those draft classes for wide receivers or quarterbacks or anything that really stands out that you could say, hey, that guy is going to be the next big superstar, the next Julio Jones, the next Calvin Ridley, or A.J. Brown, or any of these top end, Devontae Adams. There's nobody that really stands out, but those are the usual drafts that some of these guys become those type of players when it's not a big draft. When you look at like Chris Olave or a Jameson Williams or a Treylon Burks or a David Bell, or how about a Drake London? What stands out going into this draft with all these top end wide receivers that really you think could be a transition? These guys could transition into the NFL.
I'm still very early on in my process, so I'm at that point. For me, December, January is probably when I typically look at a class, I'm at my lowest, where I'm like, I don't know about this class. But I agree with everything you just said. There isn't that star stud. Like, you don't have a Saquon Barkley you could be a first time watching football and you watch that guy play and you go, yep, he's a star. Or Jamar Chase. We all knew he was going to be a star when he stepped a foot on the field. So this class definitely lacks that elite talent, but I think there's a strong core of really good talent that could end up becoming elite. So I definitely agree with your point there. And guys that really stand out to me right now are the Drake Londons, the Treylon Burks. I actually didn't think I was going to be high on Jameson Williams, but right now I'm actually like, ooh, I actually really like this guy. Really unfortunate that he tore his ACL, so wishing him a speedy recovery, because
that's not going to matter. He's going to be a first-round draft pick no matter what.
Yeah, he'll get drafted, but yeah, just want to see him make that speedy recovery, get on the field in year one, and hopefully he doesn't lose that 4.3 speed. But what really stands out to me is right now they all broke out at an early age. That's one thing that is really important for a wide receiver profile. You want guys who break out before the age of 21. Are you guys all familiar with breakout age? I don't want to be preaching to the choir if you guys already are. Just want to make sure, see some head nods. And that's really just indicative of, right, if they're good early on, then they're likely, the younger you are, probably the better you're going to be, right? It's like if you've got a kid who's playing Mozart at age 5, like, yeah, that kid's probably going to be really amazing at playing the piano as he grows older. That same concept, right? So they all check that box. Their dominator rating. So what percentage of the passing offense do they take up? You want them to be at least a third of that offense, and they've all done that, if not exceeded it. Drake London and Treylon Burks, looking off to my sheet over here, were over 40%. So that's really good. And the important thing, one of the things that really matters the most is, were they the number one guy on their team in any given year? And I measure that by yards. So did they lead their team in receiving yards in any given year? What the data suggests there is that I want to say it was like 95% of all wide receivers that have gone on to succeed were all the number one guy on their team at one point in time in college. They don't have to do it every year, but they just have to do it once. The guys that never do it usually don't go on to have very much success at all. So that's one way to quickly, just if you want to trim some of the fat, that's a quick way to do it. And all those guys, they're checking a lot of the early boxes that you like to look for. Next is going to be the combine, the pro days. How do they come in athletically? Because then we can start looking at comps, start looking at, all right, is Chris Olave the next? Maybe you guys know better. Who is he being compared to at the moment? Anyone?
I don't know. I don't know who.
Robert Woods, I've heard.
Woods, really?
Robert Woods, I've heard for Olave.
He's faster than Robert Woods.
I know that, but they're kind of very similar wide receivers. Where Olave's not really the big deep threat. Yeah. I've heard that. I've heard Adam Thielen. There's a couple.
Oh, if he's Adam Thielen, it'd be pretty damn good.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I don't get that feeling. So
we can start looking at those athletic profiles to see, all right, now who do they really kind of measure up against? And the fun fact is that actually all of the stuff that happens at the combine really doesn't matter all that much. You know, everyone a few years ago, DK Metcalf in the 3-cone drill. Oof, boy, was everyone on Twitter just giving him hell for having the worst 3-cone of all time, and then here he is blowing up the NFL. The reason is because of none of those events actually matter for predicting success. In a silo, if you just look at the 40-yard dash or the 3-cone drill or the bench press, whatever, none of those matter in isolation.
But wait a second. When you were just mentioning DK Metcalf, if it wasn't for his combine, DK Metcalf wouldn't have been drafted in the second round. I mean, some people were looking at him as a first-round draft pick at some points. I think before the combine, they were thinking the third, maybe early fourth-round draft pick. He moved up after the combine, running that, what did he run, a 4.3? The guy's built like a tight end, and he runs. He tried to run for the Olympics. He was in the Olympic trials. I mean, it's unbelievable, the athletic ability that this man has.
So from like a analytical standpoint, if I'm just looking at any one of these events, you can't. It doesn't give any indicator that this guy's going to be more successful than that guy, because the ranges of all the wide receivers that have ever gone through the combine, I mean, you're all over the place. Jerry Rice, for example, is like a 4.79 40. And then you've got DK Metcalf at 4.3. I mean, those are completely polar opposites, yet they both saw success.
John Ross has the record, and he's stopping.
and Jerry
Rice. Right. And John Ross and Henry Ruggs and all these guys that try
Jerry
to
Rice
win $1
also
million
has,
every year.
Jerry Rice has unbelievable hands. He was one of the he never dropped the ball. I mean, we talk about Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald is one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game because he never dropped the ball. Same thing, Anquan Bolden, another guy that never dropped the ball. These guys, you don't have to have speed in the NFL to see. Now it's become a speed league. But when they played, all you needed was hands and really, I would say, and they never wore gloves either. None of them wear gloves. You know, like all these wide receivers, the Odell Beckhams of the world with that one-handed catch. You won't see these guys. You never saw Jerry Rice wear gloves, ever. You never saw Anquan Bolden wearing gloves, okay? You never saw that. These guys.
That man is a menace.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different game now. I mean, it is all speed, but I think if you look at the top 3 wide receivers in the league, they're either good route runners, one, or two, they have the best hands. Devontae Adams, he's got tremendous speed, no question, but he's not like a 4.3 guy. He's like a 4.4 guy, 4.5 guy with great hands and can route run. And that's what we talk about. A.J. Brown, he wasn't a fast guy when he came into the league. He has great hands, and he's a great route runner. And then there's guys like Julio Jones that are just beastly athletic, who just are freaks of nature, okay? And that's those guys, you know, they don't always work. They don't pan out. It's the guys that can route run and catch. Those are the guys. All the speed in the world. Yes, speed beats everything, but speed doesn't do everything. As you asked Denzel Mims on the New York Jets, who is 6'3", 4'3".
For Mims.
Yeah, and I love Denzel Mims. I really do. But let's be honest. He's got he's got pan hands, okay? Including your friend over there, the tight end for the Giants.
Ingram. Yeah.
Ingram.
Well, I don't want to be the tight end for the Giants anymore. But
another guy came into the league. Tight end that can run a 4.4 and can't catch. He couldn't catch a football from you. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It really is people that can catch. And Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman was a quarterback drafted in the 7th round. They moved him to a wide receiver position. The guy never dropped the ball. Ever, okay? Even that unbelievable catch in the Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons was, almost impossible. Freak catch.
Yeah, Robert Alford should have not won for the interception. Okay.
I mean, Tyreek was a running back at Oklahoma State before he went to community college. Who could have ever predicted he'd turn into the wide receiver he turned into with no wide receiver resume?
It was drafted as a return.
That's one of the craziest things.
Cam Newton played junior college, okay, and then he went to Florida, and then he went to he went to the portal and went to Auburn, and then he won a national championship and was the #1 pick. How about this? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was a third-string quarterback on Ohio State. LSU gave him a chance 1 year in his senior year. He all of a sudden scores 60 touchdowns. He threw 8 interceptions, 7 interceptions, has one of the greatest quarterback seasons of all time, wins the Heisman Trophy, has one of the best Heisman Trophy speeches of all time, wins a national championship, and is the number 1 pick at 1 year.
Name a quarterback who's had more iconic swagger than Burrow with his cigar celebrations. Like that dude is just.
I like the glasses. I gotta give him credit on that.
Dude is money.
Glasses, yeah.
That's crazy. I would love to get back to Denzel Mims since you're a Jets fan and just kind of get your take on, is it coaching staff? Is it him? Is it both? A little later on.
You want me to give you an answer? I thought.
I'd love to hear it.
I thought watching Denzel Mims this year, last year, if you look at his numbers, the 3 or 4 games that, or 5 games that he played, when you compare and contrast the Justin Jeffersons and all the wide receivers that were drafted that year, Denzel Mims was the top 5 in that class. This year, maybe it was the scheme, maybe, obviously Mike LaFleur didn't like him, or, maybe Robert Saleh don't like him. They kind of lost him in the shuffle. He came in because of injury. And the guy just couldn't catch. How many times do we see the Jets get him the ball in the end zone? He just couldn't catch the ball. And that's alarming to me when you have a guy that can run a 4.3, 6'3", and they said he can. I think his jumping at the combine was one of the best jumping, long jumps we've seen a wide receiver have in almost 10 years. And when you have that kind of athletic ability and you can't catch the ball, you're a waste. And I think that he needs to go to another team that fits his, fits his strengths. But honestly, I as of right now, he's a bust. It looks like he's going to be a bust. I don't know. I don't know what you thought of him, but it looks like he might.
There's
be a
no
bust.
Jets helmet, so it must not have been one of these huge ones.
He wasn't. Like these are the guys that I was like most high on in each of their respective classes. Yeah, he wasn't one of those guys. He was one of those guys I'm like, yeah, he passes the test, but it was like, just barely. Like, yeah, he's okay. If I can get him on my fantasy team, great. But am I going to like reach for him, trade for him? No. If it doesn't land to me, I'm fine. There's other guys in that area that I'm happy to take that I think would be just as successful or at least have that opportunity. And here we are. So yeah, interesting to hear.
Sorry. Before I get to my question, I just wanted to emphasize, because we mentioned Larry Fitzgerald, one of the greatest stats of all time. He has more tackles in his career than drop passes. I don't know if you've heard that one before.
Oh wow! No.
Yeah. So I wanted to move off of the receivers. I wanted to go to a guy that's a very interesting prospect in Kyle Hamilton, a guy that a lot of drafts experts are saying is the best safety prospect we've seen in a very long time. And I wanted to ask, because safeties aren't really getting drafted as high, even though if they're thought of as these great overall prospects. We saw that with Landon Collins in 2015. We saw with Derwin James in 2017 or 2018. Malik Hooker in 2017 fell to the middle end of the first round. So with somebody like Hamilton, do you still see him going top 10, even with it being devalued, or do you think he'll fall back maybe to a later pick?
I think in this draft, anything's possible because you just don't have those elite talents. I think there's a couple of tackles and then a couple of edge rushers that are at the very top. And then after that, it is a crapshoot. So I think taking a safety that high is probably not the best idea. But if he's the best player available in this draft, like, yeah, I can totally see it happening. It just brings back so many, who's the safety on the Seahawks right now, Adams, right? The guy you guys traded away. Mm-hmm. He's fine, but was he worth what the Seahawks gave up and you guys completely fleeced them? No. So, I can see it happening, but this draft is just right now. This draft seems so weak. Without any top quarterbacks, like elite quarterback play.
Don't say that, because every time they say this, it's a weak draft. The draft becomes one of the best drafts in 10, 15. I'm telling
except
you.
2013.
Yes.
Right. I mean, if that happens, hey, you can have me back on the show and roast me for it all you want. But
all right. I'll put that on my.
I'm just,
list.
yeah. Add it to the freezing cold takes. But man, just looking at it right now is.
Don't do that. Don't do it.
Man, who do you take? Like, I guess Matt Corral as the best quarterback at the moment. I thought it was Howell, but I saw Lance Zierlein's tweets yesterday where he had him as a third, fourth rounder based off the film, and that really caught me off guard. And he's, a film guy I really respect and trust, and he's got his ear on the ground and he's got the inside info, and so that was surprising. I don't know how you guys feel about Sam Howell, but
I'm not crazy about him either.
I would take Carroll. I think Matt Carroll's probably the best quarterback in this draft. I don't want the Pickett kid. I don't trust that Pickett kid.
No, yeah, I hate Pickett. Well, I shouldn't say hate. I just, as a prospect, yeah, he's someone I would.
Word.
What was that?
Hate's a strong word.
Yeah. So I'm backpedaling on that.
Well, if you don't like somebody, you don't like them. But
yeah, it's just Pickett for, I think he's 5 years in the. I'm going to quickly look up his.
Yeah, I think so. With the extra year, he got the fifth year because
he got the fifth year, and it was 4 years of just subpar play, like guys that when. So I do a model for quarterbacks too, and that profile is like, all right, yeah, I'd draft him late day 3. Sure. But you're going to give me the 1 year fluke after 4 years of consistently bad play? Yeah, I think Kenny Pickett's a landmine.
Don't tell that to Jordan Addison. You might not get a helmet.
Well, before we let you go, I just want to know your final opinion. I know you're a football fan. Obviously, this past weekend with the wild card games, crazy. I mean, it really was back and forth. And the 4 out of the 6 games were complete blowouts. Okay. And the 2 games that were very, very close, 1, the Cowboys, and 2, the Bengals, the Bengals and the Oakland, well, not the
Raiders.
Vegas Raiders. What game really stood out to you? And were you surprised about something that happened this weekend that threw you off for where where the football was with the wild card games?
So I'm a 49er fan. So that game was wild. What a crazy finish. But the game that threw me off the most was the LA Rams versus the Cardinals. I was just really expecting that to be a close game. I had the Rams winning, but I did not expect Kyler Murray to come out and just forget to play how to play football. I don't know what he was doing out there. He looked completely lost. I think by the third quarter, I was like, and I'm going to go do something else. This isn't even worth watching. And I was really looking forward to that Monday Night Football game because I just thought, here's what they're going to play for the 3rd time this year. So I think they each won 1. You can, I think that's how it played out. And so I really thought it would be a close game and it would be really fun and exciting for the fans to watch. And it just fell flat. That was surprising.
Who do you got going to the Super Bowl and who do you have winning?
Well, I can't bet against my 49ers, so I'm going to go with my 49ers, and I'm going to go with the Bills.
Bills for wow, so you're another Bills.
It's the Steve Berman Super Bowl.
Oh, look at
Chris Berman Super Bowl.
Chris Berman. Chris Berman. I will say this. A lot of people are picking the Bills. And if the Bills knock off Kansas City, a lot of people are going to pick them to be the favorites of coming out of if Tennessee can win against the Bengals. I think I think with Derrick Henry, if he's 85 and they're saying he's 95% ready to go, if that's the case, I mean, how could you bet against Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones? But with Kansas City still there, the Bengals and Joe Burrow, and then obviously the other team over there, which a lot of people are taking to go to the Super Bowl, the Bills. It could be really, really fun next 2 weeks to really figure out who's going to go to the Super Bowl and who's going to represent the AFC.
So you're a 49ers fan with no Ayuk helmet with all those wide receivers?
Yeah, ran out of space and
George Kittle. Oh, George Kittle.
Oh yeah, just it was an expensive one. I've been trying to I've been saving up to get Jerry Rice first. Like if I'm going to get one first, it's going to be Jerry Rice.
That's fair.
And it's going to actually be Kittle because he's just my favorite player on that team. I mean, I think he's just one of the best personalities in all the NFL right now.
I met George Kittle 3 years ago in Miami. So very, very
Nice.
tall, and very big hands. Okay, so a very nice guy, very, very nice guy, and he was growing his hair out, and he has even longer hair now than he did. So.
Kyle Juszczyk also grew his legend status by getting slimed after the game too.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Oh, did he?
I'll talk to you about this real quick, Miguel, because no one else ever crap when I say it. Kyle Juszczyk is the most underrated player in all of football.
I would agree. When they gave him the contract they did when he initially signed with San Francisco, I was like, how are we paying a fullback in this day and age that kind of money? What in the world? But he's been,
a leader,
worth every penny of it. I mean, has he ever done anything like
bad
to swing the game in the opposite direction? No, it's always been a great play.
Great route runner. He's decently fast.
Yeah, he's always comes up clutch when you need him. He's never like put the ball on the ground. He's never done missed the key block, like at least not that's noticeable to the
I don't think he's ever missed a block.
Yeah, the dudes.
Him, Trent Williams, and Kittle are the best blockers at their positions, and it's not even remotely close.
That was amazing player personnel scouting by the 49ers.
And the Ravens got kicking themselves in the ass for letting him walk. Jesus Lord.
Yeah, they probably looked at the price tag and had the same reaction I did.
And you also have to look at letting go of Darren Waller and look what he's done with the last.
Yeah, I was a big.
In the Ravens' defense, they are usually a cycle of fullbacks. They went from our guest of the show, Ovi Muhaley, to LaRon McClain, to Devontae Leach, to Juszczyk.
And by the way, the person
the guy they got now is pretty good.
By the way,
the DT
the
guy,
person that discovered Waller was John Gruden. He was the one that discovered him. He was sitting there at practice. I remember I watched the whole documentary of it. He was sitting there at practice, and he said, "Who's that guy?" He said, "Oh, that's Darren Waller." And then right after the game in the press conferences, they went into the locker room and they told Darren he was traded to the Oakland Raiders. And that was
he was on the practice squad, right? So I think they just poached him right from it.
He was practicing on the field. He wasn't even playing in the game. And John Gruden was there watching the kicker, and he saw this guy, this big, tall kid running on the sidelines, and said, "Who's that kid?" And they said, "Oh, that's Darren Waller." And I'm telling you, the story was right after that game, they went right into they called him into the locker room, the coaches, and the coaches said, "Well, Darren, you're getting traded to the Oakland Raiders." And look,
I knew the practice part of the story. I didn't realize it happened in the same day, though. That's
same day. It was right in the same day. Darren says right after the game, he was told by the coaches he was traded. He was traded to the Oakland Raiders, and that's the real story. And obviously Darren has his own,
great fortune for everyone around there.
Absolutely, and the background of Darren Waller with the drugs and the abuse, and really changed his life around. I give Darren Waller a lot of credit. He's one of the top 3 tight ends in football. So
right,
fantastic story for a fantastic kid.
I remember I was
Who's better than Darren Waller?
I name
Kittle, Kelsey.
Mark Andrews had a hell of a
Mark Andrews is
a better all-around tight end. He is.
No, he's not.
And I would even say Hawkinson's close.
No,
I wouldn't.
Oh God, Hawkinson.
All around. Stop looking at receiving stats. There's more to it than just going out there and catching the ball.
Oh right, I'm coming in from a fantasy lens, so you're right. If from a non-fantasy lens, I won't argue that.
Darren Waller is one of the best tight end blockers in the league. What are you talking about? You're wrong.
You're just saying. That's not true. That's not true.
Yes, he is. He's a great blocker.
That's not true.
Really? It's not true?
That's not true.
Darren Waller is not a great blocker.
Look it up.
You look it up.
I don't have to.
I know he is. I know he is.
Why would I look up something I know already?
You don't know because half the things that you say you know, you're wrong. So it's
I'm 50-50. That's a pretty good bet right now. 50-50.
Okay, so what are you willing to bet? Okay, because
just look it up.
No, I'm not going to look it up. Why am I going to sit here and look it up when I already know the answer to it? Darren Waller is a good blocker. He is a good blocker. He's a good two-way player.
He could be a 40% blocker. You'd be like, that's good.
He's definitely better than 40%. Okay, but anyways, Miguel, tell the fans how they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Twitter at ProFootballPSI, or you can go to, if you want to find my work, ProFootballPSI.com.
All right, Miguel. We would definitely like to get you back on again at the end of the season when the playoffs. I mean, when the playoffs are over, when obviously the combine and where you decide on who's going to go. From 1 to 10 top wide receivers, 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 top quarterbacks. We'd love to know where you're sitting and where you stand when it comes to the PSI and where these players are going to be. So we'll get you on again. We really appreciate you joining us and giving us the time.
Absolutely. No, thank you guys for having me on. It's a pleasure getting to know you guys, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miguel. As you guys know, we're talking to Pro Football PSI Player Evaluator Miguel Chapeton. Very nice kid. Really, really nice kid. But did you look that up?
I'm trying to find an article. It has Pro Football Focus top tight ends. Some of them have blocking grades in there. Let's see. If
check if you.
He said a receiving grade of 85. This article has him number 3 overall.
I that's where I see him as the number 3. I mean, you can argue it's Kittle or Kelsey as the one.
Yeah, I think those are definitive 1, 2, and then it's kind of a crap.
But I would say Kelsey's number 1 because he's been
that's fine.
And Gronkowski over the years, he was the best.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. I'd put Gronk above Waller too.
Yeah, of course you do, because you obviously don't know what you're talking about.
So he was ranked number 3 overall at the end of the year.
Why? Because Waller's 5?
90.9.
Darren, you don't give
Andrews
that,
was
you
6.
don't really respect Darren Waller for what he is, and it's sad, but that's a lot of people.
2 good years.
2 good years.
Yeah, 2 good years.
How long has he been in the league?
Gronk's been great since he was a.
Darren Waller's been in the league for 3 years.
Nobody's comparing.
He's been
3
good for 2 years.
Well, no, but he was on the practice squad. Remember?
He's 3 years. He's played 3 years, and he's been a Pro Bowl player for 2 out of the 3. Okay, and George, 2 out of the 3.
One. I'm looking at it. It's 1.
He was, first of all, the year that he got accepted. What was it last year? Last year he was going to be a Pro Bowl player. He was taken out because he was hurt, and that's why he didn't play.
That's the one they're giving him.
No, whatever.
All right. Among qualified tight ends, Darren Waller is ranked 39th in run blocking grade.
Out of what?
81 qualified tight ends. He's 39th as a run blocking
That's pretty
grade.
damn good. And where's Kelsey? Where's Kelsey? Shut up, Tyler, and let's hear where all of them are ranked before you go. What?
Well, Kittle,
what?
he was
You're
right.
like an idiot.
Kittle was the highest, 78.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I'm not saying he's better than
blocking
Kittle.
grade.
I'm not saying he's better than Kittle.
Let's see.
You find out where all the top ones are, because the guys that he said, who was the other guy that he said over him?
He said Mark Andrews.
How about Hockenson? We'll see where Hockenson
is 72.6. Oh wow, Kelsey's is actually 80.2. So
Kelsey's better.
This is actually pretty good. So
those are the two best.
Kittle's is 90.
Those are the we know what the 2 best tight ends are. We know they're 1 and 2.
Right.
We know Kittle and Kelsey are 1 and 2. Waller, I believe, is the 3rd best tight end, all-around tight end in the league. Okay, and Gronk is not. Gronk is not the catching tight end he once was. Now Gronk, if you were to ask me 3-4 years ago, where was Gronk? Gronk was, you could put him 1, 2, or 3. Okay? More than likely, you put him at 1. Okay, and then you would probably put George Kittle's only really been dominant for 2 years. Okay, because he was 3 years in the league, 4 years.
This is his 5th year in the league. He missed a lot of last year with injuries, though.
Yeah, but he
missed a chunk of this year.
But really, his career's really started 2.5 years ago. Okay.
Well, 2018 was his breakout season.
Because I remember
2017 they were dealing all those quarterback carousel, so he really didn't have a lot to work.
Because I drafted him where everybody said he was an up and coming tight end. I remember.
2018 George Kittle's the best streaming tight end that I've had with fantasy football.
I drafted him in like the 6th round, and he was a big
so that was 2019. That would have been the year after. Yeah.
And nobody was drafting. Everybody thought I was crazy drafting him in the 6th round, and. He had one of the best tight end years a tight end can have all around.
I think I had him in the Beavs League that year, and I think I took him in the 5th, if I remember correctly.
And listen, Kittle can't stay healthy. If Kittle actually stayed healthy, I think he could be even more dominant. I think the best tight end, all around tight end in football is Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Okay. He can run, stop. He can do everything. He does everything, and he can catch the ball, and he's a fantastic player. So. But Darren Waller, I think, is a fantastic all-around player. I don't think anybody gives him the credit that he deserves. I really don't. To me, Yeah, even this year, he's another one that fights a lot of injuries. And Darren Waller really throws me. Tyler's favorite cheese is whatever grows between the bee's toes. That's Jeff's.
Jeff, I did not want to know what that tastes like.
Actually,
do I do
Gronk's
that?
got better numbers this year than your boy too.
Who?
Gronk.
What do you mean, my boy?
Gronk's got better numbers than
Yeah,
Waller.
Waller barely played this year.
So did Gronk.
Okay, but Waller has barely played, and Gronk actually plays with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. That likes to throw him the ball. That likes to throw him the ball. So it's different. Darren Waller. First of all,
you act like Brady goes out. Gronk's triple team. I'm going to throw it to Gronk anyway.
Yeah, probably does.
By the way, Mark Andrews' blocking grade is 81.5, so he's actually a little above Kelsey as well. So he's actually pretty good, I would say.
Darren Waller had 50. He played 11 games this year, 55 receptions, 665 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Darren, again, last year he had like 9 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Darren Waller this year had an off season, and that was a lot to do with his injuries. He couldn't stay healthy, and he wasn't 100% healthy at the end of the season. Even in the playoffs, he wasn't 100% healthy. He couldn't run the routes that he's really good at. Last year, he had 9 touchdowns. He was unbelievable last year, and had over 1,100 yards. How many tight ends have 1,100 yards in a season?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think Kelsey's the only one who's done it multiple times.
He had it back to back. He had back-to-back years. It's 2019, 1,100 yards.
I think Gronk did 1 year, but he's always hurt, so I don't think he did it enough. I think Kelsey's the only one who's done it multiple times of this current core. Kyle Pitts was pretty close this year too.
Yeah,
I think he was at 1180 something this year.
I just don't think anybody gives Darren Waller enough credit for what he is. And this year, I think he's a top 3 tight end in the league. I don't think the only 2 guys that I think I would take over him are the 2 guys we talked about, Kelsey and Kittle. Kittle, I don't know about Kittle right now because Kittle can't stay healthy. The last 2 or 3 years, when he's on the field, he's unbelievable. When he's not on the field, why would I take him over a guy that plays 16 games? The last 2 seasons before this year, 16 games, 1,145 yards, 1,196 yards, 12.7 yards per catch, 11.2 last year. And obviously last year, 9 touchdowns. So, and the year before that, 3 touchdowns. So when he plays and he's at the top of his game, he's unbelievable, and he doesn't drop the ball at all. No,
Waller's hands are very good.
His catch percentage is probably one of the best or the best in the league.
The thing I like a little more with Kittle, why I would give him a slight edge, though, is the versatility, though, too. He lines up in the backfield a lot. He'll line up.
I just said Kittle and Kelsey are the better players.
Right.
I'm not saying he's better than any of those guys. But if you're going to tell me Andrews, Gronk, and those guys, Gronk's old. I'm not going to take Gronk over him. I'm not.
No, not anymore. No.
I'm not going to take him. And Hockenson, I'm not taking Hockenson over him. I'm sorry, I'm not. Andrews, you can argue. I
think that one's close. And
you can argue that. If you want to argue that, I guess you could say that because he's the number 1 target over there in Baltimore. So maybe if you want to
especially here with all the backup quarterbacks they had to play with.
I guess. But Andrews fought with a lot of injuries.
He had a lot of injuries in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but Andrews had a good year this year too. So, and I like Andrews. I always draft him in my draft.
Oh, yeah.
This year I couldn't draft him, but
I was amazed he fell as late as he did in that draft. I think all the way to the 4th round or something like that, because he was thought of as right in the same realm as Goddard and Gesicki.
Andrews, I think, was the best all-around tight end in football this year. I think he was. 17 games, he missed 1 game, 1,300 yards. 12.7 yards and 9 touchdowns. I would say Andrews was the best tight end in football this year. If you
81.5 blocking grade,
I'd probably say he was the best tight end in football this year. And then I guess Kelsey, and then I would say
receiving wise, Pitts probably, and then
Pitts. Yes, I would take Pitts this year, and then I would say Waller. Then I would say Kittle. Kittle didn't have a good year offensively.
What?
He didn't.
Well, he missed a lot of time too.
What are you saying? What for? What are you saying? You think Garrett? What are you laughing at? You idiot! You're laughing so much
because you're completely wrong as usual.
910 yards. That's a great year.
Tight end.
Tight end
with Deebo Samuel on the outside. Are you insane? On a running team?
Andrews had 1,300 yards. Okay, Andrews had 13. He played 14 games.
All right.
By the way,
the receiver that Lamar Jackson has?
Waller played 11 games that had 665 yards. Okay, and he played 3 more games than Waller did. All right. So don't give me your shit. Okay. What are you talking about?
Is Waller the one?
What do you mean Waller's the one?
In Las Vegas, and Derek Carr calls a play, is he the one?
No, he's not. Jacobs is. He's running the ball.
Actually,
Jacobs
statistically,
is.
this year probably Renfro was.
Yes, and Renfro. So, no, he wasn't. And he only played 11 games this year. So how is he the one?
So, all right, there's so many backtracking arguments right now. I don't even know where to start. So you said that you're going to take Andrews at
George Kittle didn't have one of those years that you could say he had a great year. He didn't. He didn't.
All right.
Kelsey, what was his number, Speedy?
Let's see. Kelsey.
I'll find it because you take forever to look up Travis Kelsey. There. Travis Kelsey, 1,125 yards, 9 touchdowns in 16 games. That's a great season. That is a great
200
season.
yards.
That's a lot.
And Kittle missed 4 weeks.
He missed 2 games, Kittle.
No, he didn't. He
Yeah,
missed more than
look,
that.
14
Trust
games.
me.
I just had it up.
Right.
He had played
They
14
played
games.
17. That's 3 games.
Oh, it's 3 games. That's right. Yeah.
Right. So he doesn't get 200 yards in 3 games?
And he played 16 games. Kelsey. He didn't play 17 weeks.
So he missed 1 game.
Okay.
Kittle missed 3. So in that 2-game extra, you don't think Kittle catches him?
No.
It depends on the Shanahan gameplay because he uses them a lot.
Same
as a
thing with
blocker,
Darren
too.
Waller. Darren Waller played 11 games, had
I understand
665
that.
yards.
I understand that. You're the one saying, "Oh, they're hurt. I'm taking Darren Waller," even though
I'm
Waller got hurt.
taking Darren Waller. I
Go
am.
ahead. You can take
It just it also depends on Tyler. It also depends on if there's exclusive game plans where Kyle Shanahan will just use him as a blocker too.
Absolutely.
So instead of one of those
but
games,
that's why I'm saying he's the best. You can line him up as a 6th offensive lineman. You can line him up as a double fullback with use check. You can put him in the slot. You put that
We all
guy
know you're in love with
anywhere.
We all know you're in love with Kittle. George Kittle. We all know you're in love with him. So
What do you mean? Because he's the best tight end in football?
He's not the best tight. Travis Kelsey is the best tight end in football, and that's not even an argument. And the fact that you are arguing it just shows you how stupid you are. Because
Maybe if you opened your mind and actually thought instead of just going what people are telling you, you'd actually be able to think and comprehend something.
Really, people are telling me first of all, I don't even listen to sports radio anymore, so you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Shows you how stupid you really are. I don't
How
watch.
am I stupid
I don't
for not
watch.
knowing you listen
I
to
don't
sports
watch
radio?
I don't watch Sports Center. I don't watch any of those things. I do what I watch, okay, and I say what I watch. And honestly, George Kittle didn't have the year that you're saying he had, and George Kittle this year was probably the 4th best tight end in football. That's where I would say. Actually, I would say probably even 5th. All right, I'm not even saying Waller
Andrews,
was
Kelsey, and who?
Andrews, Kelsey, Speedy. Get me the numbers of the tight ends. Get me the numbers.
Andrews,
I don't know
Andrews,
where.
Kelsey, and Pitts were the top 3 receiving wise.
Pitts. I take Pitts 2 over him this year.
The best blocking tight end in football, right? Who missed 1,000 yards by a hair sniff. You're saying you had a bad year, but Kyle Pitts.
I didn't say he had a bad year. I don't think he had the year that you're saying. I didn't say he had a bad year. I did not say he had a bad year. You're taking words out of my mouth.
You say he didn't have a good year.
He didn't have the years that you would expect the top end the number one tight end in football that you said.
1,000 yards if he plays a full season.
He's not the number 1 tight end in football this year. It was Andrews.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Kelsey number 2. Kelsey number 2. 9 touchdowns. 11, almost 1,200 yards. I'm taking Travis Kelsey over George Kittle, even if George Kittle was healthy.
That's fun.
And
half the planet would probably do that.
Half the planet. He's the best. He's been the best tight end in football really since Gronkowski actually retired. He has been the best tight end in football, and I don't think it's even an argument. And when they played against each other in the Super Bowl, who had a better game? Travis Kelsey had a better game
because Pat Mahomes isn't throwing him the football.
So it's Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you got Brady for Gronk's success.
Alex Smith was throwing him the ball for all those years. And what are you going to say? Alex Smith is a superstar player too? Come on, give me a break.
He's a better quarterback than people give him credit for.
Nobody said that he wasn't, but he's not Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, or Aaron Rodgers. So, again, and you have this love fest with Jimmy Garoppolo. By the way, I talked to 2 people today when they heard the whole Colin Kaepernick comparing. 2 of those people told me, and I'm going to get them on the show because they have a bone to pick with you. And one of them is a San Francisco fan and said you're out of your mind to say that Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick. He thought you were nuts.
Stats say that. I don't have to say anything.
Stats tell you what? Stats tell you that Kaepernick
the guy
was
doesn't
better.
complete 60% of his passes.
The stats tell you Kaepernick was better. He was better. He's a mobile quarterback.
60% of his throws weren't completed.
60%? What are you talking about?
You said on the show
59%.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's not 60.
And an average quarterback in the NFL, 61%.
And Garoppolo's 67. So tell me, numbnuts, if it's above average and one's below average, how is the guy below average better than the guy that's above average?
Hold on one second. When Colin Kaepernick's not throwing as many passes, and when he throws the passes, the statistics are not right. Jimmy Garoppolo throwing
with a smaller sample size, your numbers should be higher, not lower.
Really? You have a running and mobile quarterback that can do everything from a quarterback that stands in the pocket that can only do one thing.
Right.
And you're going to take that quarterback?
You're proving my point.
No, I'm not.
You are.
A quarterback.
Because if he's mobile, he's not throwing the ball as much, right?
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you because you're a moron. So I'm going to bring in the Colin Kaepernick numbers. Bring in the Jimmy Garoppolo numbers, and I'm going to show you again how stupid you really are. Because you, who have been saying over and over again, you could go, oh my God, anything, because you're just out of your damn fucking mind. Okay, and I'm going to say this on the radio show because you're stupid. And it just doesn't even make sense. How many games did Jimmy Garoppolo play in his career?
Jimmy Garoppolo played 63 games, started 47.
47.
67.7% completion percentage, 11,852 yards, 71 touchdowns to 38 interceptions. His quarterback rating, 98.9, averaging 188.1 yards per game, has taken 105 sacks, and yards per throw is 8.4, yards per completion, 12.3.
Kaepernick's going to blow that out of the water. I'll give him that now. He's a big play guy.
And running. What are you doing run? What are you doing?
Big play.
No, what is your run?
Maybe 200 yards. His entire
rushing.
Rushing
192 yards. Yep.
Okay.
5 touchdowns.
Okay, so let's look at Colin Kaepernick's number. He played 69 games, 49 games as a starter. 59.8% completion percentage. 12,271.
That's awful. How are you going to just overlook that number?
What do you mean it's awful?
59.
He's a running quarterback, too. He's a mobile quarterback.
Completion percentage has nothing to do with being mobile.
Oh my God. You're just out of you're out of your
His job is to throw the
12,271 yards, which is more. He played in almost the same amount of games and threw more yards. How many touchdowns did he have?
71, I think.
71, yep.
72 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns. How many interceptions?
38.
38 to 30. So I'm taking Colin Kaepernick. Oh, by the way,
he started 2 more games, has 1 more touchdown.
By the way,
like 10 points on completion.
But it doesn't matter. He's better. And by the way, ran over 1,500 yards at 1,500. And by the way, had 9 touchdowns run in as a quarterback, which Jimmy Garoppolo has what?
5.
5? Yeah. So there you go.
So for a mobile quarterback, because he's a great mobile quarterback, he has 4 more rushing touchdowns.
That's right.
The guy that runs
better.
Like
and they played almost the same amount of time. And Colin Kaepernick has better numbers. And by the way, they both played.
He doesn't have better numbers.
Yes, he does. The only number.
If they were standing on an open field, Garoppolo would hit his target 10% more accurate than Colin Kaepernick.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
And that's the number one job.
Jimmy Garoppolo is so overrated, and you make him out to be better than he is. And
I didn't say he's a game manager that can take you to a Super Bowl. That's all I said.
Take him to a Super Bowl. The running game took him to a Super Bowl. You
was
idiot.
He there?
Yeah, what do you mean he was there?
Was he the starting quarterback on a Super Bowl team?
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick.
Was he not the reason that San Francisco turned it around?
I'm going to let you speak, and then you're going to shut up. Talk. Say whatever you want. Go ahead.
So
Yap your big fat mouth.
A quarterback's job, people, is to complete
He knows
the pass.
because he played football. He knows.
That's fine. That's fine. So then you should understand that a 59 completion percentage isn't even good. It's not even average. It's bad. It's bad. We can all say that, right? It's bad? Okay. So now that you've got this mobile quarterback, he's an athlete. Great. Fantastic. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have his overwhelming athleticism. Fantastic. Garoppolo will hit you inside the hash marks. He will complete the passes. He will go into Dallas and win a big game. He will take them to the Super Bowl. And no, because I already know he's not the biggest I know he's not the biggest reason. But a game manager is a fantastic
Go bring
thing
up
to
his
have.
playoff numbers.
I have those already.
Go bring those numbers.
His best yardage total was actually in the Super Bowl, 219 yards. Beyond that,
he's a great player.
Beyond that,
he's a great player.
Beyond that,
got him there.
Against the Vikings, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The Packers, he really didn't have to do anything because it was a blowout. 77 yards, and then this past game against the Cowboys, 172 yards, 1 interception, 16 to 25.
One bad.
All right. So
One bad
Colin
throw.
Kaepernick played in 2 playoffs, 2012 and 2013. 800 yards, one of them. 61 completion percentage in 2012. 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And then 2013, he had 600 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And let's see the numbers, the passing rating. Let's see, the completion rating was 56%. And he ran 2 touchdowns. He ran 2 touchdowns in 2013 and 1 in 2012.
One of the games he had 181 yards.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm taking Colin Kaepernick in the playoffs as well. So Colin Kaepernick's a better playoff player, and he's a better all-around player than your Jimmy Garoppolo, you think is just so special and so great.
Just reading some of the comments. Snook says Darren Waller's favorite cheese, brie. Travis Kelce and Gronk's favorite cheese, smoky cheddar.
Where is Jeff, by the way?
I don't know. But Jeff's commenting, he just hasn't called. Snook says Travis Kelce is also handsome as the day is long. Earl's favorite cheese, Havarti, whatever that is.
I don't know what that is.
Speedy's
Actually, smoked Gouda.
All right. Speedy's favorite cheese, Kraft singles. They're not bad. I wouldn't call it my favorite cheese.
I never liked Gouda either. There's something I bought a smoked Gouda for New Year's Eve 2 years ago, and I don't know. I fell in love with it. Now every time I buy it, it's so expensive. It's like $7 for like like a little bowl. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll eat that in like a day. Yeah. It's so easy to eat. So
Stuck says the Raiders don't make the playoffs without Waller this year. Is George Kittle a cousin of Kerry Kittle's? You could put him in a box. You could pair him with a fox. You could put him here or there. You could line him up everywhere. Very Dr. Seussian of you, Snug. Bucket best tight end in the NFL, Zeke. Sounds like we need to have a nuts check. Speedy, please start kicking. Not going to happen. Wait. I'm the one that says stupid things, not Tyler. Can we just all agree that Dak Prescott is better than both Jimmy and Colin? And yes, Nathan, we were just about to get to you in the waiting room now.
Yes. Why don't we put Nathan through? What's going on, Nathan? How are you, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on the show again. And sorry about the last few weeks. And
Are you falling asleep or something, man? What the hell? You falling
bear
asleep?
with me. I'm under the weather right now, but I'm still joining, so I'm here. So,
You're right. You have COVID or something over there?
No, I mean just a cough, cold, and so after this show, I'm gonna just pass the fuck out.
There you go. And you know what? You can, maybe you caught Duff syndrome, and if you do, we have the cure for you right over there, right across the table, right there.
What's Duff syndrome?
Nathan, I hope and no Dallas Cowboy fan hit you with a piece of trash.
I'm in excuse me. I'm in Florida right now, so I'm safe.
So you're in Florida right now. And you have a cough. I mean, it's not even cold. I mean, we had snow today. It was like 30 degrees. Over there in Florida, it's like what, 75, 80 degrees?
In the morning is like really cold, like 45 degrees.
Oh my God, that's freezing. That's like the summer for us right now. You know this.
Yeah.
You're over there. Where's your whole family's over there in Florida?
Well, I'm the only one here. I'm here to visit my friends, my grandparents, my brother. Next week I'm gonna go visit some friends and my brother.
Your brother moved down there?
Yeah, he lives in West Palm.
What's he do over there? Well,
He works for FedEx.
Oh, I didn't know that he moved over there to Florida. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so me and my friends are gonna party a little bit. Hopefully I'm better by then, but if not, then I'm stuck here in the house.
You don't sound very good, but I'm happy you joined us.
Hey, Tyler, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
How about those Rangers? Let's go.
How about them You can't say that here.
I don't care if you
can't
talk
say
about the
that here.
Rangers.
We're not allowed to mention the R word on the show.
That's not true.
I can't slap tables. I can't do anything. I have to sit here and pay attention and not do anything at the same time.
Slap tables when
it's
you're
very
watching.
hard to do.
You're slapping tables when we're talking on a radio show, and you're watching the Ranger game. And
Watching
which,
sports.
by the way,
Watching sports on a sports network show.
By the way, Nathan. This is the same guy that if the Rangers are losing, he's going crazy, and then when the Rangers score, he goes nuts. And you sit there, and he expects the Rangers to win every single game. So
I expect them to win every game they should win.
Well, at least he didn't say trade Panarin after the first game of the season.
Yeah, right. Fire the coach.
By the way, fantastic interview with my guy Leigh Bodden. We had him on the show also last year. Yeah.
He's a
Vote
really
Biden.
nice guy. So,
Not Biden,
Speedy,
Biden.
why don't you text Jeff so we can get him on so we can do our picks? I'd like to hear what he has to say. So make sure that he comes on because I'm sure, we actually picked the same picks last week. The only thing we were off last week, Speedy, you got all of yours right, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I was 5-1. I just missed the Patriots. That was it.
The Patriots game. And you, Tyler, what was he at?
I was
Let's
6
see.
for 6.
Tyler had the 49ers right. You had both the Bucks and the Chiefs. Both see. You got the Bills.
Right. I got all of them right. I'm telling you, I got all of them.
Yeah, the Rams?
No, yeah, you had
did
the
have the
Rams. Yep,
Rams.
you had the
The
Rams.
Rams.
I'm missing one game. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals. Yep, you got all of them right. Yep.
So Tyler had them all right. Me and Jeff, I think we got.
You had the Cardinals. So I know
We have one wrong, I think.
One there, but you also had the Bills.
The
Yeah,
Bills.
so I think you had. You both of you had the Cardinals. That's right.
I got one wrong. Obviously, my Cowboys. So
Yeah, I think we both had one wrong.
Oh yeah, you and
Don't
Jeff
worry.
both had Dallas
I'm
too.
gonna make their heads explode later. I'm gonna make their heads look like.
Snug went 5-1. He said, my boss went 6-0. So Tyler and your boss went 6-0. Just before we get, what did you think about the Cowboys game? Obviously, you're a Cowboys fan. The Dak Prescott situation. A lot of people are attacking him. Dak Prescott at the end of the game, his press conference took a shot at the referees. Then the next day, 24 hours, he apologized to the referees because Jerry Jones and the organization, Mike McCarthy probably told him, you better say something because you're going to look like a fool. What were your thoughts when that happened? Where we all know what the Cowboy fans were doing. They were crying and.
I was about to throw something at the TV, but I did not. So I held my composure. I mean, who the hell? Like, first of all, you have I think the mistake was when they did the fake punt when they threw the fake punt. Why would they bring keep the punt unit on the field and be stupid enough if the 49ers are going to call a freaking timeout, and the 49ers are smart enough to call a timeout Yeah, so I think that's a mistake there. And 14 seconds, we had 2 shots at the end zone. Dak Prescott has a capable arm of throwing. He didn't have to run on that play. But I get what they're doing there. But still, you got to know the clock management. Mike McCarthy is known for not using the clock management. It's the same, even in Green Bay, he struggled with the clock management.
Honestly, there's only like 2 coaches in the NFL that are actually good with clock, clock replacement and stuff like that. There's only really like 2 of them. Bill Belichick and who's the other one they always talk about that's really, really good with the clock?
Sean Payton, maybe?
Is it Sean? No, Sean Payton's bad.
No, I think Saints fans are a little harsh on him.
I'm going to say Kyle Shanahan.
I actually think he's pretty good.
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan's terrible with the clock.
Not Kyle Shanahan.
He's terrible.
Andy Reid was criticized his whole career, so it's not him.
Kyle Shanahan's terrible with the clock.
Harbaugh's good with the clock.
Who?
Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh.
I think John
I would say
Harbaugh. But he actually had some blunders this year.
More with the 2-point conversion stuff more than that.
But going back to my Cowboys, obviously they have to know they have to know that ref have to start touch the ball before they snap, and fucking all these players were in front of the ref, which he didn't have any room. So by the time he snapped the ball, the time was done. So in my opinion, I think Kellen Moore should have drawn up 2 plays from the. I think we were a little bit after the 50-yard line. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he should have drawn 2 plays where Dak can throw the ball from there. But
He would have 3 if he ran. If Dak actually didn't run and he actually just threw on the 40-yard line, most of these wide receivers can run a 4.443.
Yeah,
it's 14 seconds. So if you take 4 seconds away, 14 seconds, that's 10 seconds. If you take another 4, that's what? 6 seconds. You take another 4, that's 2 seconds. So the Cowboys could have had at least 3 plays before the game was over.
Yeah, speaking of, and my question is, as a Cowboy fan, why not use Cedric Wilson on those couple of plays? I'm not saying he's Deebo Samuel, but he can do the things that Deebo Samuel does, but in a different way.
Why do NFL teams? Why do they have a combine? Okay, if they're testing their speed, okay, everybody wants to know how fast they can run a 40. You're on the 40-yard line. You're exactly on Actually, were they on the 40 or the 24? I think it was.
They were on the 24 when they were running, but they were running from the 47-yard line or something.
No,
like
they
that.
were on the 40. They were on the 40.
On the 40.
He ran on the 40, and they got to the 24. It was 14 yards he ran, so he was on the 40-yard line. So when he was on the 40, what do they run at the combine, Tyler? On the 40, right? 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
So these guys, these wide receivers, the Amari Coopers. Amari Cooper ran a 40 and 4.4. You have CeeDee Lamb,
who's faster than Amari.
It ran it at like a 4.39. Okay.
We have Cedric Wilson, who's making himself into a reliable wide receiver for us.
Ran in a 4.4.
Yeah, why not?
Bad quarterback though.
Huh?
Bad quarterback though.
I don't think
ended up in the first row.
I don't think Dak is a bad quarterback.
No, I said Cedric Wilson.
Oh yeah.
He threw that ball damn near in the first row.
Yeah.
By the way, our Cowboys season ticket holder has arrived.
What's going on, Jeff?
Love the Cowboys.
What's up, Jeff?
Bad mouths them I don't like.
Well, the Beef was bad mouthing him yesterday, so I guess you hate that. You hate him too.
I mean, not every Cowboys fan likes other Cowboys fans.
Well, he's not a real fan. He doesn't have season tickets.
Who's not a real fan?
The Beef.
Oh,
He's a big Cowboy fan, and by the way, Jeff he's now a season ticket holder. He bought 8 season tickets and
two. I bought 2 season tickets, but for 8 games.
8 games. That's what I meant. Yeah.
How about them Cowboys? We're gonna come back stronger next year.
That's right. Next, I think that he's right. We're going all the way to the divisional round next year.
Will they have 4 teams get a bye to do it?
They're not going to have Amari Cooper next year. They're not going to have Lawrence. They might not have Vander Esch.
We don't need him. We got the best quarterback in football.
Yeah, that's right.
And Zeke, the best running back, as good as Barry Sanders. Yeah, that's great. Which they by the way, did Zeke actually touch the ball at any part of that game? I mean,
he actually had a huge carry in the end of the fourth quarter.
That was his only one, though.
Yeah,
the rest of the time, I think he had 13 carries for
$60 million.
21 yards.
Cowboys wasted.
I mean, beyond that.
To be honest with you, though, we all shit on Zeke, but if he really played with a partially torn PCL, that kudos to him. And he had the bits plick up that saved Dak Prescott's career, because that without him taking out, I think it was Bosa and Warner.
It was Bosa and some blitz. Yeah, it was a Bosa and a blitzing linebacker. I don't think it was Warner. The other Al-Share or something like that. Yeah,
but that saved the game, because if they sacked Dak there, the game would have been over.
All right, so we got Jeff on. We're gonna make our picks in the divisional series. We're gonna go through each game and give our thoughts to the game before we make our picks. Are you ready, Speedy? You got the music?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna go Speedy, Tyler. We'll go then Jeff, and then we'll go Nathan, and we'll go me. You ready? Speedy, you first. All right, let's pick up let's get the games first. So
first one is Bengals at the Titans.
All right, so go Bengals Titans.
They're the 4:30 Saturday start. So this is definitely, with the Bengals now coming off a big win, this will be a big test for how Zach Taylor is going to handle them emotionally, because we sometimes see big letdowns after these big emotional playoff drought wins. Then you'll see the letdown after that. So this will be a big test for him. We know Mike Vrabel's very good at kind of countering that for the Titans. He's also 8-0 off of a bye week, or like a long period of time off, like if they played a Thursday game and then they have 8 days off or something like that. He's 8-0 in his coaching career with that. So that'll definitely be a lot for Zach Taylor. But concept-wise, the Bengals do have a lot of advantages in this game, one of which being the wide receivers. The Titans secondary is improved from last year, but still very young, not great. So we'll see if the Bengals are able to attack that. The thing is, the Titans pass rush is very good, though, too. They're going to have to keep that in mind. And run defense, I believe, was number 6 in football. So Joe Mixon, who wasn't really a big factor against the Raiders, they have to try to get him going in more creative ways. For the Bengals defense, they can stop the run, and they've done well against other good running backs in the past, but can their secondary stop the outside receivers? Julio Jones has been a great postseason receiver in his career. A.J. Brown hasn't really been that yet, but is still a very talented receiver. So if the Bengals secondary can win some matchups there, that'll be one that I think they could definitely take advantage of. But Tennessee at home.
All right, who do you got?
I still got to take the Titans here. I just think they're a little more experienced, a little more prepared. I'm going to say the Titans 23-20.
So you hit on a couple of things. The Cincinnati Bengals have a top 5 run defense in the NFL, and we haven't seen Derrick Henry in quite some time. I don't care if he's 100%, 85%, 70%. Derrick Henry's going to help the Titans out. The only thing you got to trust in this game is coaching and in the late stages of this game, because it's going to be close, does Ryan Tannehill or Joe Burrow have more collectiveness about them? I've seen Joe Burrow play huge in big games. I've yet to see Ryan Tannehill do a thing in big games. So for that reason alone, because I do think it's going to be close, I think Henry and Joe Mixon are going to both have pretty good days, and you're going to see occasional big plays by both defenses. I absolutely love Mike Vrabel. He's a great coach. Great coach. Your quarterback's got to go. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals on an upset, 28-24, Tennessee.
Jeff, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take the upset here too. I like the Bengals in this game just because I'm not a big Ryan Tannehill believer, and we still don't know that Derrick Henry is going. He's still listed on the IR currently. I know that he was at practice and all that kind of stuff, but he's not been declared eligible to play yet. So if Tennessee is going to be one-dimensional and not have Derrick Henry, I don't know how they would win. So I'm going to take the Bengals.
Niffin.
Yeah, I got the upset here too. I love the Bengals team. They're riding high. I feel like this is like the new hype team right here with Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase. I love their offense, their defense. But if they can contain, obviously Derrick Henry coming off the injury, coming back. I think if they can contain Derrick Henry and the Titans' weapons, I think they have a shot. So I'm going with the upset. Bengals 24, Titans 21.
I think that this game is going to be a battle of really the running games. And if Derrick Henry does play in everything that I've read, Ryan Tannehill talked about it, Vrabel talked about it, he's going to go even if he's at 60%. So that means Derrick Henry is probably going to play. I don't know how good he's going to be, how much they're going to use him. But having a guy that big, that strong, that can block and do all the things that he can do on the field, it can cause a lot of mishaps for a lot of the different players that are on the field. The thing is, when you look at Ryan Tannehill, I don't trust him like I trust Joe Burrow. And that's why a lot of people are going to go back and forth and try to compare and contrast the quarterback play. But I do believe the Tennessee Titans all-around defense is better than the Bengals defense. I also believe that with the wide receivers, everybody keeps talking about Jamar Chase and Higgins and Boyd. Well, Julio Jones is on the other side, and so is our friend A.J. Brown. And both of them are healthy in this game. I'm going to take the two veterans. I'm going to take the guys that have done it before. So give me the Tennessee Titans 24-18. San Francisco, Green Bay.
So the last time these two teams played, we saw the Packers have a lot of trouble stopping the run and stopping tight ends. They've been a lot better at that this year. So that's a good thing in terms of their defense trying to be able to get the going. Devondre Campbell was an all-pro player. Their run defense has been a lot better overall, and their secondary depth is pretty good. Now, like I mentioned last week, Deebo Samuel, they decoy him very well, so we'll see how Kyle Shanahan maneuvers him around to keep him away from Jaire Alexander. I still think he has the edge in that matchup because Jaire Alexander is off an injury. But the Niners losing Fred Warner in that game, Nick Bosa as well, they're not going to be 100% even if they do play. So that's a little bit of a concern where they don't really have that extra speed rusher. So as much as I want to take the 49ers in this game, I do think the injuries will end up being costly. I think the Niners keep it close. I think their defense does it for a while, and Aaron Rodgers comes back late. I'll take the Packers, very close game, 27-20.
So both NFC games this weekend are actually rematches of Week 3. Just so
yes.
So real quick, Nick Bosa did practice today. He's in the Derrick Henry boat. He's not declared yet, and Fred Warner is playing. The Kyle Shanahan's all but confirmed it. So that basically means he's gonna be allowed Nick Bosa, right? And they lost. It was 30-28 Week 3, correct?
Yes.
Deebo Samuel was not the Deebo Samuel he is now. Brandon Ayuk was not Brandon Ayuk he is now. And I know that everyone's going to hate me for this, but guess who's 0-3 against San Francisco in playoffs?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has never beat the Niners.
By the way,
playoffs.
Devontae Adams didn't play in that game.
That's fantastic. No, he did.
No, I don't think he did.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. He had like 113 yards.
Did he play in
you
that
know
game?
who might not
yeah,
play
he only
in this
missed
game,
the middle of the season. He only missed 2 games in the middle of the season.
So not only that, you know who else might not play for the Packers? Scantling. Well,
Valdez Scantling?
Yeah, he might not play, and he's their second best receiver as far as I'm concerned. So that would mean that Aaron Rodgers has even less options around him, and we all know San Francisco is going to be able to stop the run. I'm taking the upset again here. I'm taking the Niners 27-20.
Reverse of my score, huh?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a Green Bay game all day, like typical Green Bay game. They're just going to hold the ball and do a possession game and put up points when they need it, because I'm not going to trust San Francisco's defense when they're all banged up. When Bosa went out, when Warner went out and stuff against Dallas, that's when Dallas started moving the ball, no problem. I think Green Bay will be the same way. I don't care if they're playing. They're still really hurt. So while they still might play, I don't trust them. Give me Green Bay here.
Nothing.
Yeah, I got Green Bay. Obviously, being home, Lambeau Field is a tough place to play. 49ers, obviously, with the news of Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, but I think the Packers will win. I got them winning 34-27.
It's interesting, and I you go back and forth, and I love what I saw last week even with the injuries that they had. San Francisco played very good defensively. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo in this game. It's going to be very, very cold in Green Bay. They're talking about could be below 0. It's going to be really, really bad over there. And it might even snow this weekend, which could cause a lot more mishap. Now, San Francisco, they have the better running game, but they're not 100% healthy with their running game. So, I'm not an Aaron Jones fan. Everybody knows that. But I think with Aaron Rodgers, who can run the ball and do the things that he could do with his legs, it definitely benefits them. Aaron Rodgers, the more accurate quarterback. I trust Aaron Rodgers in a bigger game. Devontae Adams is the best route runner in this game by far. And again, you look at the big picture as a whole. And by the way, Devontae Adams had 132 yards that game and a touchdown. So you were right, Tyler. But the thing is they had problems stopping Aaron Jones in week 3. They couldn't stop him. And I think they're going to have a problem in this game. And I think with Nick Bosa, even if Nick Bosa does play in this game, Nick Bosa isn't 100%. So, and half the players, Warner's not going to be 100% in this game. So, yeah, he's going to play and he's going to be a face on the field. I think this is a blowout. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to blow them out. I'm going to say 38-14. Wow. The Green Bay Packers. Whoa. They move on to the NFC title game. So, there you go. All right, Speedy, what's the
Bills and Chiefs is the next one.
All right.
A lot of these times, these quarterback matchups are hyped up to be. Sometimes they end up being duds. This one, I think, will own up to it. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game.
Actually, it's the LA Tampa first.
Oh, LA Tampa's first. All right, here's my upset. I'm going to take the Rams here. I think this kind of offense, the way it's structured,
I don't think it's an upset.
It might not be, but you're right. It's not a drastic upset, but this is the one that I think will be among the seeding ones. This type of offense that Sean McVay has, a lot of good route running, a lot of good bunch formations, has always been a good counter to Todd Bowles' defense. Even though they lost the first game that when Bowles was there, Bucs won the game. It was still a high-scoring game. And the Bucs' secondary depth definitely has not been the same as it's been last year. And Odell played very well against the Cardinals, too. So they found ways to use him. Van Jefferson they still got there. Even Tyler Higbee had a nice game. So if the Bucs blitz a lot, that's going to be a hard matchup for them. The Bucs offense, no Tristan Wirfs on that offense, or Tristan Wirfs might be playing, but he's going to be limited, kind of what we were saying with Bosa. So that's going to lose a lot to it. And we still don't know about somebody like Fournette coming back too, which that would be an X factor if he does. And Mike Evans, Jalen Ramsey, I think that'll kind of cancel out. And I don't think the other Bucs receivers have really done as much. Tom Brady will keep it close, but I'm going to take the Rams here, 30-24.
Tyler?
I've been going back and forth on this game all day because it makes a ton of sense for the Rams to go in there and win. That front seven's going to give Tom Brady a ton of crap. And Brady, when he gets flustered, doesn't do very well. And the history speaks to that. Any quarterback that's under pressure gets his play diminished. So I really haven't made up my mind on this game. I can't bet against Brady until somebody beats Brady. So for that, I know it's not just Brady. Stafford's amazing. Odell's really picked up the pieces. Odell looks like he's still a giant now. It's going to be a very close game. If Jensen plays, I think him and Marpet will be able to somewhat stop Aaron Donald. And by stop, I mean slow him down 2 seconds. I'm going to take Tampa Bay by the skin of their teeth, 24-23.
Jeff, who do you got?
I have one very firm rule when it comes to football. Never bet against Tom Brady. That's it. That's my only reason for picking the Buccaneers. The Rams are good. I like the Rams. They got good defense, all of that. Odell Beckham looks like he's finally playing well with the Rams and developing chemistry. That's all great. Terrific. I don't know how. I don't know why. Brady will find a way to win.
All right. Niffin, who you got?
Yeah, so everybody's talking about that. This is Matthew Stafford is under pressure this year. It's either a Super Bowl or a bust season for the Rams because they put all the they put all the chips in him, and obviously traded for Von Miller. But like you guys said, I can't go against Tom Brady. I feel like and the Buccaneers are playing better football at the right time. So I'm going with the Buccaneers 31-24.
I love the LA Rams in this game. I absolutely love them in this game. Going into this game, now Tampa's going to put up a fight. You know, Tom Brady's going to keep his team in the game. But I think with Von Miller, they brought Von Miller in. Tom Brady has had problems with Von Miller over the years. Aaron Donald, I mean, this is going to be a really tough pass rush for them to hold on. Now, that's why they brought Gronkowski back. He can block. He can do the things that you need him to do on the field. And also, Leonard Fournette will be back this week, but we don't even know if Leonard Fournette is going to be at 100%. The LA Rams, they have Akers. Even Sonny Michel ran the ball very well last week. And let's talk about the corner position. Ramsey, arguably one of the best corners in the league. And Brady right now, he's got one good wide receiver available, and he has two, maybe three good tight ends. I just think even with the secondary, the way it is for the Rams, I think they're better on the secondary as well. And the wide receiving core, let's look at the wide receiver core. You have Cooper Kupp, who was the best wide receiver in football this year. It's going to be very hard for the secondary of Tampa to stop this. This secondary for Tampa is nowhere close to what they were last year, not even close. And that's why I think this is going to be the Rams' day. They're not going to be able to stop Cooper Kupp. They're not going to be able to stop Odell Beckham. And when that happens, they're going to be able to run the ball. Give me the Rams in this game, 30-21. All righty.
I also made my pick under protest because if it weren't for the refs, this would be the game the Dallas Cowboys would be playing in. And they won.
Yep.
Buffalo, Kansas City, the final game of the divisional week.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think this will be very close. I mean, it's going to be a shootout. I think both these quarterbacks proved a lot in their first matchup. Obviously, Mahomes had an easy matchup, so I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. But in terms of the secondary of the Bills, it's banged up without Tre'Davious White. The two safeties looked good, so I think they could do a better job of taking out Kelsey. The question is the receiving depth.
Micah Hyde was awesome.
Micah Hyde was very good, but the receiving depth for the Chiefs has started to play better in recent weeks. It was the first half of the season was where's that number 2 receiver coming through? DeMarcus Robinson's played better. Brian Pringle's played better. I just trust him a little more in that front. I also trust him a little more in the trenches than the Bills. I think their offensive line's a little better. Spagnuolo with his blitz packages, I think they make it very creatively. So I think it'll be very close. And I think both of these receiving running backs, either Singletary and McKinnon or Singletary and Darrell Williams that he plays, will actually play a big factor in this game. I just trust the Chiefs and Spagnuolo a little more defensively down the stretch a little more. So I'm going to take the Chiefs in a shootout, 38-34.
So we get another rematch, right? Because they already played this year too. I
Mhm.
believe the Bills whopped them.
Bills blew them out, yeah.
The Bills blew them out. This game's not going to be that. I'm looking at the advantages that the Chiefs have. Obviously, Tyreek on the outside is going to have a field day because he doesn't have Tre'Davious White to go against him this time. But I'm looking at Travis Kelce, right? Because he's probably the preferred one. I like Matt Milano or Tremaine Edmonds and Micah Hyde, a joint pointer on him. I like that matchup for the Bills again. And is Jerick McKinnon really going to be as good as he was against the Steelers? I don't think so. So I actually am going to pick the Bills here. I think the Bills are going to be able to continue their success. They've been running the football very well lately. Take it as you will, but the Patriots are a better defense than the Steelers are. And Josh Allen's got some confidence going right now. So I'm going to take the hot quarterback. John McDermott's got a point to prove, and I think he's proven it. I'll take the Bills 38-35 over the Chiefs.
Jeff.
Yeah, outside of Bill Belichick, if there was one coach in the league that you'd want coaching your team, it would be Andy Reid. I think he's going to be an X factor. This Chiefs defense has been playing better and better as the year has gone on. You know, everyone was getting on them early in the year. Oh, they're not very good. They're not, they're nothing special. They're quietly starting to play really good football, as well as that offensive line, that really young offensive line they got. I like Pringle. I like Hardman. I like all of their support pieces. I think Galaire's coming back. I'm going to take the better quarterback and the better coach every time. So give me the Chiefs.
Nathan, what do you got?
Yeah, this is a tough one right here. Both teams are awesome, explosive. Both defenses are good. And obviously offensive, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. What a great matchup. Are we allowed to keep him as a pick 'em or we have to pick it?
Guy, make a pick.
All right. Man, this is tough. I got the – you know what? I got the Chiefs winning 41-37.
Well, Watching all season long, I remember last year in the playoffs, the AFC title game, Josh Allen was embarrassed by the Kansas City Chiefs, and you remember how upset he got. He was laying flat on his ass, and he threw the football at the defensive lineman, and it started a whole big thing at the end of the game. Then Josh Allen didn't even want to talk at the press conference. The press really took shots at him, how embarrassing he was, and how what was the word?
Unsportsmanlike.
Sportsmanlike he was in the game. I think that this game is so very important for Josh Allen's growth. It really is. Mahomes is a fantastic quarterback. He's growing. He's going to have many, many years to have a chance to win a Super Bowl. And this year just hasn't been the Kansas City Chiefs year. It started off really, really slow. They got stronger at the end of the year. They went on a winning streak. I think they won 7 or 8 games in a row before they lost. But they played a Pittsburgh Steelers team last week that they gave up 21 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you give up 21 to 28 points against the Buffalo Bills, you're not winning this game because the Buffalo Bills are a very good defensive team. They can stop the run. They can stop you in the open field. Yeah, Jadavian White is not in this game, but I don't care. I haven't seen anything with Tyreek Hill this year that actually scares me. The only guy that really scares me on the field on this Kansas City Chiefs team is Travis Kelce. And I don't think anybody on Buffalo that can defend a Travis Kelce. But if you double team Travis Kelce, you're going to have to get the ball out of his hands. You're going to have to make them beat your running game. And guess what? Guess who one of the best run stopping teams in the league is? It's the Buffalo Bills.
They're the best defensive football.
Yeah. So I think that it's all about defense. And I think Josh Allen is going to be able to keep up with Mahomes. I think Mahomes is the better quarterback in this game, but not by much. Give me Josh Allen and the Bills going to the AFC title game against the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to say 30-24, and I think this is going to be a very fun game to watch. Probably the best game of the weekend. I think it's going to be back and forth. Great football. So the best for last.
Snug in the comments section made his picks. He says Titans win and cover the spread. Bengals defense was banged up in the game last week. Arrested Henry is going to go run wild on them and set up Julio Jones in the deep ball.
Yeah.
He thinks Green Bay wins it late in a tight game. Okay. If you combine the Bills and the Chiefs, would you have the Beefs? Yeah, that'd be funny. Rams defense stepped up last week. If the Rams can muster a reasonable run game, then put pressure on Brady, they can win. Tough call. Last possession wins. The Chiefs have been to the top of the mountain. I will rely on that experience to get it done. And the easiest way to pick the game is to figure out which team has more players from Alabama. If that's the case, the Raiders would have probably went to the Super Bowl.
That's a pretty good one by Snug, though, huh? The Beefs.
The Beefs.
Yeah. like if Tyler was on a football team, would they be called the Queefs?
Well, the Beefs translated from last year's little brawl that Errol was mentioning. Josh Allen versus I think it was Derek Nottie was the one he threw the ball at, and then Chris Jones fired back at him.
And then the whole offensive line on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Darrell Williams and was it? Yeah.
There was a whole offensive line.
Yeah.
I don't have to name the whole offensive line.
But Williams is the one who threw the punch, the first punch that really started that. Josh Allen was the one who
shut the music
football
off, Speedy. You don't have to keep playing the music, but
Bills beat the Chiefs this week. I'm buying that chicken wing hat.
Bills beat what happened? What did you say?
If the Bills beat the Chiefs this week, I'll buy that chicken wing hat.
I can't wait to see that. I want to see you wearing it. You got to send a picture. Okay, if the Bills win, you have to send a picture to us with you with that chicken. What is it? A chicken wing hat?
Yeah, it's a chicken wing. It's
you got
like a chicken wing.
You have
like the cheese head?
Yes.
Yes. Right. They have one in Buffalo.
Really?
It's a big chicken wing.
Yeah, it's like it kind of looks. It kind of looks like a drum wing, kind of.
It's a drumstick. Yeah, it's a drumstick.
Right. And it almost like if you put two of them together, it almost looks like a turkey type thing, but it's obviously orange, like with hot sauce, like a wing.
I know Buffalo is. There's a place up in Buffalo. It's like the best wings place to go.
Anchor Bar.
Yeah, the Anchor Bar. Yeah.
I loved that one when I went up there.
I never been there.
Oh
So
yeah,
I definitely got to
it's
check
as
it out.
authentic as it gets and historic.
It's so funny because I was up there recently because I drove over there to Canada. It was about a year and a half ago, and I never even knew. If I knew about it, I would have probably stopped to actually check out the wings. But
Anchor
I
Bar
did hear that their wings over there is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, Anchor Bar's the oldest and the most authentic wing place, and they have that
You know why
the
they're the
original
most
flavor.
authentic?
The
'Cause they
original
invented
flavor.
it.
Yeah, the original flavor of the buffalo wing, the buffalo sauce, all that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like buffalo wing. I don't like buffalo sauce anyways. I'm more of a honey mustard. I mean, a honey barbecue guy. So I like the honey barbecue wings. I'm not.
What's the name of the place?
Anchor Bar.
Anchor Bar.
Anchor Bar wings. Jeff, I actually have a bottle that I haven't opened yet of the actual sauce. Apparently there are places you could actually get it in certain stores too.
Stores? In certain stores?
Stores.
I was about to say you're snoring in the stores. So, but
I would hope I would not be snoring if I'm eating Anchor Bar wings.
You know, it's so interesting.
Oh my God!
What happened?
What a goal!
What happened?
What a sick Avalanche!
By the way, I you mentioned the Avalanche. You know who really looks good, and I got to watch him a little bit more this year. Makar. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That kid,
one of the best young defensemen in the league.
That kid is fantastic.
One or two, depending on where you put Fox.
That kid is fantastic. Unbelievable puck handler. He's unbelievable.
He's also the fastest skater for a defenseman.
He's fantastic. Did he play college hockey? Michigan, right? Michigan. Who did he
I
play
don't think
for?
so. I thought it was a Massachusetts school.
No, he played for Massachusetts.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
what I thought,
I know he played. I know he played here in the United States. So
all the best things come from Boston.
Okay, but I watched bits and pieces of him the other day, and I had watched him, you know, since he's come into the league. But I watched him the other day, and he was by far the best player on the ice. It was unbelievable puck handler, and some of his shots. He's got an unbelievable backhand, wrist shots.
He's easily the best skater in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic. I mean, fantastic player. I didn't realize how good he was until I had the opportunity to watch it. So, you know, it just because I like I said, I played hockey and I was very competitive. But when you get a chance to really see up and close and personal to see how this kid could skate and how he can move the puck, he reminds me of Brian Leach. Not skating wise, because Brian Leach wasn't as fast as this kid, but a finesse skater, really good skater, and had an unbelievable puck handling skill. And I don't think Brian could shoot like this kid, but this kid is fantastic. Best defenseman, best all-around talented defenseman I've ever seen in the league in the last 5 years.
Stark says, if the Chiefs win, then Earl wears Speedy's boxers on his head.
No,
I need a break from betting, Snug. And then Boston, the new title town.
I'll tell you what. If the Chiefs win, I wear Speedy's underwear on my head. But guess what? If I win and the Buffalo Bills win,
your obsession with like people's underwear.
He said it
is becoming like.
He said it.
No. Snug recommended it in the comments.
I didn't say.
I don't
it.
actually want to bet it.
I didn't. And by the way,
by
the way, the bet with him wearing the underwear on his head wasn't mine, you idiot.
That was Carl's.
That was Carl's. So you have no idea what you're talking about, Jeff. That had nothing to do with me. So you bring me up like I'm the one who said it. He's the one who brought it up. And I'm saying, and Snug's bringing it up to me. So here's the thing: I'll wear Speedy's boxer shorts on my head. But if I win, you gotta. I'm trying to figure out.
Speedy or Snug?
Already went in. I'm getting chicken wing hat.
No. I'm talking about Snug.
That's a fun one. I would wear a chicken wing hat.
I'm trying to figure out what Snug needs to do.
I want one anyway.
If the Bills win. If the Bills win, what should Snug do?
Cupcake hat.
No, I don't want a cupcake hat. I want something embarrassing. I want him to do something.
Snug should have a whole box of like 20 cupcakes and he could dunk his head in it or something.
No, I want to do something even worse. Because
if he comes here, I would say throw cupcakes at him, but he probably does that. He probably does that anyway. So
I would say stick your cat's head up your ass. I'm gonna do that. Suffocate his cat. You should have saw Tyler's face when I said that.
Oh God!
You see his face earlier when you started the show talking about adult films. Jeez.
Well, was it? Tyler likes pornos. He does.
I love how he admits that he watched that, but like we all know he finishes as soon as the pizza gets delivered in those movies.
How much porn?
Get him back, man.
He's a wonderful man. What's there to say about Jeff? He's a wonderful man. There's nothing wrong with Jeff.
That's how fat and greasy he is. He comes with the thought of pepperoni.
How much porn?
Actually, Tyler was very good. Over the weekend, he bought a pie pizza, and we both had. Well, we shared a pie pizza. It was very, very good.
How much porn do you watch?
Yes, I'm sorry.
How much porn do you watch?
Tyler probably watches a lot of porn, right, Tyler?
We're not doing this.
Snug says this happens every day, and maybe we can mix Oreos into that. I don't know. That's more the Mikey C specialty.
Well, it's not a
Dude,
bet
you have
until I
eyes.
figure it. I'm not making a bet until I figure something out. Snug, we'll text each other before we make a bet. I'm not going to make a bet unless I figure out something that you have to do if I win. Okay, so I'm not sticking no Oreos up my ass. By the way, no, that's Mikey
That's a
C.
great idea.
That's Mikey C. That's not me. Mikey
That's a
C
great
is the
idea.
one. By the way, if anybody doesn't know that story, Mikey C, absolutely, has admitted to that story. He used to go out on dates, and what Mikey used to do before he slept with a girl is he would stick he'd stick a sleeve of Oreo cookies in the inner part of his cheeks. Yes. And they would have to grab it with their mouth. And if they don't grab more than 5 of them, he won't sleep with them. I'm dead serious. That's what he used to do.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he used to do. Yeah.
Tyler's interested in that idea just for the Oreos.
Maybe some milk, you can dip it in milk. How about you?
Snug says, if you want to know how much porn a man watches, check the calluses on his hand.
I don't have any calluses. That's not true.
It's all that lotion he uses.
I don't actually use lotion.
So you're a dry tugger? Man, you are a savage.
Dry tugger. Toot. I'm surprised, Tyler. I got to give you a lot of credit. You sit here and you won't ever fight. You will not even attack back. You won't say nothing. It's crazy.
That's what he wants.
No, he doesn't.
No. That's what he wants. He likes
No.
I
don't want you to attack me.
So that's fine.
No,
He's a
want
wonderful
a real
man.
life thing.
He's a humanitarian. He's a what's the word? He's a
true gentleman.
No. Well, yeah, he's a gentleman, I guess.
That's what Jeff calls Snug. So
is he a gentleman?
No, he's not. But that's what we'll call him.
Okay.
I'm just using Jeff's terminology of he calls Snug a true gentleman.
Well, he loves Snug. We all know Jeff loves Snug. I mean,
Snug's a terrific human being.
See, no matter what, you will not see Jeff ever say anything bad about Snug.
That's not true. If he was out of line, I would say so. But I actually think Snug is a great human being. He should run for public office.
Really? Maybe
absolutely.
Maybe she run under Bodden.
Leigh Bodden's vice president.
Yeah, why not?
Leigh Bodden and stuff. Yes.
I mean, Snug is educated. I mean, he's got He's got his PhD or whatever the heck he has. He's got 2 masters or whatever the hell he has. Right. But I mean, by the way, Jeff is a fine gentleman as well. So that's what Snug says.
So you have a couple of people with degrees then doing the show, because you've got Snug and he's got a PhD, and then you have Tyler's degree from McDonald's University. I'm sure that's a proud accomplishment.
And Speedy has he has a degree. He has a college education.
See?
Yeah, I got a college education too.
Yeah, I got a degree too.
You got a degree?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Another degree, and Jeff has a degree as well.
100% nothing stacks up to Tyler's McDonald's University certificate that he has at home, though.
Get him back! Why are you sitting there? You're just sitting there.
Because I have nothing nice to say, and I was taught at an early age. If you have nothing nice to say, you don't say anything.
Yeah, Tyler was going to be Grimace for Halloween.
By the way, Snug says, I'd be happy to accept the nomination to be the vice president.
Leadership.
He NFTs that. You should definitely shoot him like a hey.
Well, I wouldn't think he's going to create an NFT out of that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Hey, what was up with everybody in his NFT?
I followed him on Twitter, so if he ever does post anything about that, I'll do hashtag leadership for him.
By the way, so far, the last couple of weeks, cryptos have fallen apart. I mean, the numbers are just dipping.
Dude, crypto is nothing but a freaking Ponzi scheme anyways. What are you people doing?
I'm just saying the cryptos have found their kryptonite.
Dude, crypto is all a Ponzi scheme. You can't go anywhere and spend it. You can't do anything with it.
Well,
it's got fake value.
You can cash out of it. Yes, you can, Jeff. I know a bunch of people that cash out.
Right, but the only way you can cash out of it is when someone else buys it. What do they buy it with? Money.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying.
right.
Once it goes up.
So you buy into it with your money,
And you
have
sell
to
out
pay
of it.
money for it.
Yeah, and you sell out of it.
And what do they give you? They're not giving you, like, you're not selling Bitcoin for Ethereum, right? You're not selling it for Dogecoin. No one's giving you Dogecoin for. No, what do you sell it for? Dollars.
That's right.
Bitcoin's worthless. Bitcoin's worthless.
I have a friend that cashed out on Bitcoin when it was high. He made a lot of money, man. He
Right. It's all speculation. There's been tons of people that have been made tons of money from it. I get it, but like, if you buy in, you spend dollars on it, and when you sell it, no one's like, "Oh, I'll give you."
No, it all depends on how it goes. Just like stocks. Just like stocks, it has to shoot up for you. If you have a certain amount invested into it, you're going to make more money on it. Yeah.
Right. But what I'm telling you is, no one buys crypto with another crypto. When you sell the crypto, everyone wants dollars for it. So what's really worth more?
I understand what you're saying, but I also listen. And by the way, Snug says crypto volatility is out of control. There is money to be made, but it's very close to pure gambling. It is. It absolutely is. But gambling what? I mean, they say crypto's all the way for the future. And with the credit cards, I remember when credit cards came out in the 80s, and everybody said, when I was a kid and I was a baby, I remember they say cards are never going to go anywhere. Credit cards are never going to go anywhere. And now all of a sudden, if you don't have credit, you can't do anything. So they were wrong about that. And I think people are going to be wrong.
That's still based on the dollar. Crypto is based on nothing.
No, it's based on a dollar. Yeah, the more money you invest in them, the more money it shoots up, the more money you can take out. It's
but credit is you're still promising to give cash. That's what that is. Only it's left at the bank, and it'll just be a bank transfer.
I understand what you're
Right.
saying. I understand what
Has
you're saying.
anyone ever seen a Bitcoin?
No. They're not logically coins that you can buy. I mean, obviously.
Right. So it's not a tangible thing that
No.
you can. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Because our whole market, even the dollar. Do you know what all of money is based off of? The price of gold. That's what that people originally used to do. Anyways, it was all based off the price of gold. Like, if you wanted something, I'd just cut you off a piece of gold, and it was a tangible thing that you could have.
Yeah.
No one has a Bitcoin.
Yeah. I understand you can't own, like, you can't hold a Bitcoin. You like, I got a Bitcoin. No, you don't own, like
if Speedy takes out his wallet and empties his wallet, what do you got in there? $7-8, Speedy? What do you
No,
got?
I probably more than that in there right now.
Well, whatever. But you have something tangible that you can hand to another person for a purchase.
Yes.
Go ahead and try doing that with a Bitcoin.
No, you can't do that. But what you want to do is you want to invest your money into a crypto that's going to boost up. And if you put if a coin's not even worth a cent, and you put $1,000 into it and shoots up 3-4 cents, you're going to be pretty wealthy.
That's a great thing. So here's
you're going to be pretty wealthy.
You just mentioned the $1,000 mark. Do you know what you would have today if you invested $1,000 into Bitcoin in 2000 and I think it was 8 or 9? 9 I think.
You'd have a lot of money. You'd be rich.
You'd have $108 million.
I know somebody
off of $1,000.
I know somebody that made is a multi-millionaire. Betting on Bitcoin, and he cashed out actually recently on it, and cashed out a couple $1 million. And
Snug says it's essentially currency trading. You could do the same thing with British pound or
Yes.
Japanese yen. I don't even think I think there's another currency in Japan too.
There
Snug,
is.
now. Currency has always had armies standing behind
those
it.
currencies can also be held, and they're tangible things. So if I took a yen and went to a market to buy a chicken, they would ask me for that yen.
Yeah.
No one in that market is like, oh, forget your yen. Where's your Bitcoin?
All right, so let's get off of Bitcoin. We have about 8-9 minutes left of the show. I want to know you guys' opinion. There are how many jobs available? There's 4 coaching jobs available. 5 coaching.
Vikings, Broncos, Bears, Dolphins, Giants, Texans. So
all right. So there's 6 teams. All right.
I heard that today the Texans are in.
Oh, Jacksonville too. 7.
The Texans interviewed Josh McCown again.
Okay. So who? What happened?
So the Texans are interested in Josh McCown again.
Oh God,
Josh McCown.
Texans.
A done deal. Flores is going there.
You really think Flores is going to Texans?
Yeah, I think Flores is going to the Texans because I think that's their evil plan to try to convince Deshaun Watson to stay.
Yeah, I guess that would be the best chance of anything. I still don't know if he will, but that's the best chance, I would say.
All right, so I'm going to give you a team right now, and you're going to tell me who you think is going to fill in that spot when it comes to a coach. You ready? You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. For the number one team right here in New York, we'll go New York first. The Giants. Speedy, who do you got?
Brian Dable, because I think they're going to hire the Bills GM.
Who do you got, Tyler?
I don't think the Giants are going to go with the guy from the. I don't think the Giants are going to get. I'm going to agree with him, but I don't know. I think they're going to go with the Niners guy.
Okay.
So I don't know who he would bring in. I would like D'Amico Ryan.
So then they could hire the Giants or the 49ers. But yeah, both coordinators. The Mike McDaniel's an offensive coordinator. That's getting a lot of buzz.
I would love D'Amico Ryan's. If I was him, I'd go San Francisco. But I mean, I'd say you know what? Fuck it. I'll say D'Amico Ryan's.
All right.
Okay, Jeff, who do you got? Who do you think the Giants go?
I'm with Speedy. I think it's Dayball's job just because they're going to hire John Schoen.
How about you, Nith? Who do you got?
Man, I got Brian Dable or Brian Flores or Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy.
I
think it's Dable too. I've been hearing that they really like this Buffalo kid, and he's young and he's energetic, and he's been there for since the growth of Josh Allen. He was there. He was one of the guys that wanted Josh Allen when they moved up. Well, they drafted him at number 7.
Yep.
So I'm going to say Dable as well. I think it's his job to lose. The Vegas Raiders. We didn't mention that team.
I think they keep their current coach.
Really, I don't.
Yeah, I do.
I don't. Who do you?
Harbaugh.
You think Jim Harbaugh?
I think Harbaugh's going. Apparently there's a rumor going around that he's already let Michigan know if he's offered the job, he's taking it. So who knows?
Jeff, who do you got?
Yeah, I think that listen. I think he should have gotten Coach of the Year. I've been all over that, and saying to a lot of people, I think Rich Bisaccia has done a great job there, and I think he should get that job.
So you got Bisaccia. Nathan, who do you have?
I got Rich Bisaccia, but I'm gonna agree with Tyler here. I think Jim Harbaugh it's his job to lose because I heard the same report this morning on TV that if the Raiders offer Jim Harbaugh the job, he would take it. But we don't know. But I got Jim Harbaugh or Rich Bisaccia. Yeah.
I think Jim Harbaugh is coming back to the league, and I don't know if it's going to be the Raiders, but it seems like there was a story that came out over the last 24 hours that it's true that if Jim Harbaugh gets offered the job, he will take it. So I think he's destined to return to the NFL. I don't know how good that's going to be for the Oakland Raiders, but you know what the Oakland Raiders like. But don't forget
Las Vegas,
Vegas, whatever. But I'm not going to say Jim Harbaugh to definitely the Vegas because I really think it's Miami. That's where I think he's heading. So, but it could be Jim Harbaugh. I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Bieniemy is another guy that's going to be interviewed over there with Derek Carr over there.
But who's going to interview him? I feel like all these teams have interviewed him multiple times.
Bieniemy?
Yeah.
He's interviewed with everybody. Mm-hmm. But they're also they get to interview him again. They can't interview him again until
the Chiefs lose.
Right.
Right. And I get that. But I feel like every year he gets interviewed by the same teams.
Yeah.
So
now there's different vacancies available.
This year he's going to get a job. This year is going to get a job.
We'll get to the team, but I think there's a clear-cut team that needs him.
All right, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I agree with Jeff 100% when he mentioned this initially. I'm going to say Byron Leftwich to the Jaguars. Stays in Florida.
I think this has been Bieniemy's job. I think this is the perfect team for him. I do think Byron Leftwich makes a ton of sense. He was a franchise quarterback there. I get all that. And if whoever loses first, whoever can interview first, Leftwich or him, then that's one thing. But I see Bieniemy's offensive mind with Trevor Lawrence imploding the league.
Jeff, who do you have?
I'm still on Byron Leftwich.
Yeah. Byron, Nathan, who do you have?
Brian Leftwich. Yep.
I think it's Byron Leftwich. It could be what's his name again from the Cowboys, the offensive
Kellen Moore.
It could be Kellen Moore because I know he interviewed over there, and they really like Kellen Moore as well.
That's funny because I remember 2 years ago you said Jason Garrett was going to coach there eventually.
Yep.
Obviously, that's not going to happen now.
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kellen Moore. So I would go Byron Leftwich or Kellen Moore. Broncos.
This is where I think Eric Bieniemy goes. I think they're going to steal him right out of the division.
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Another defensive coach. Who do you got, Jeff?
Man, I'm torn because I have the same guy going to 2 different jobs because I think he's going to take one of them. So I kind of don't know, but I have Dan Quinn going to Denver. If
No. Please don't say that. No. We need Dan Quinn back in Dallas, man.
He's not. He's not going back to Dallas. I'm just letting you know that there are multiple teams interested in Dan Quinn. He's going to take a job.
I think Dan Quinn's going to be the Bears coach. However, if he weren't going to be the Bears coach, I think he's going to end up in Denver.
That's where I think Dan Quinn's going to, the Bears.
All right.
Dan Quinn is not going to be a Cowboy next year. I will guarantee, unless he gets the Cowboy job and they fire Mike McCarthy, which it doesn't seem like they're going to. Dan Quinn will not be there next year. He will not. Everybody knew that was going to happen. If the Cowboys defense was going to play the way they are, they're going to give Dan Quinn the credit. It's nobody else's. So who do you have going to the Broncos, Nathan?
I got Nathaniel Hackett from Green Bay. I think with the Aaron Rodgers connection, I think this is a team. This is a big offseason for the Broncos. If they want to win that Super Bowl, go get Aaron Rodgers. Go get Nathaniel Hackett from Green Bay. There you go.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Miami.
I agree with you on this, and it's going to be a bomb, Jim Harbaugh, and I don't think it's going to work.
Dan Quinn?
No, Jim Harbaugh.
No. I'm saying Dan Quinn's going. I think Dan Quinn goes to Miami.
Okay, gotcha.
So they're going to bring another defensive coach in. No, it's interesting. It really is. It's very interesting. I think that's. I have a thought what's going to happen. Jeff, who do you have? Miami.
Mike McDaniel.
Interesting. Niffin?
I got D'Amico Ryan.
McDaniel is, but that's okay.
What happened?
None of you know who Mike
49ers offensive coordinator, anyways.
Yeah. Hey, Speedy's got one.
Go ahead.
I got D'Amico Ryan's going to Miami.
I got Eric Bieniemy. I think that's where he's going. I think I think it's Jim Harbaugh, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Harbaugh goes to Oakland or Vegas. That's where Bieniemy will go there. It's either Vegas. I think it's a flip flop. If Vegas gets Jim Harbaugh, Bieniemy goes to Miami. If Bieniemy goes to Vegas, Harbaugh goes to Miami. That's what I believe. I think it's a flip flop. The Bears.
All right, so this is one that hasn't been mentioned as much, but he's also gotten a lot of rumors from the Broncos. The Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell, I think, will coach the Bears.
See, I want to say Brian Flores because I think Chicago wants Deshaun Watson. And I think that's going to help a ton. I'm just trying to think if they'd part ways with Justin Fields after a year. I'll say Flores goes to Chicago.
All right, Jeff, who do you have?
Previous answer, Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, that's right. You've said that. Nathan?
I got Mike McDaniel going there.
Who?
Mike McDaniel, 49ers.
I think it's either Dan Quinn or Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores is a perfect fit for Justin Fields. And I think, obviously the Texans, it makes sense what Jeff is saying. They want to keep Deshaun Watson there. You bring Brian Flores, that's the coach he wants to be coached with. It makes sense. The Texans, the final team.
Brian Flores, yeah.
Who do you have?
I had Flores go to the Bears. You know what? They need an offensive guy. I'll give them the Bills' offensive. What? Dable?
Yeah. Jeff?
Who are we on?
Houston.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Flores.
Right. And Nathan, who do you have?
I got Josh McCown or Brian Flores.
Yeah, it's surprising that Josh McCown's getting interviewed as much as he has. The Jets interviewed him a year ago. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars interviewed him. And this guy is a high school coach. He was a good NFL quarterback, but he doesn't have NFL offensive coordinator experience. How are you going to give him the reins to coach? Even Vrabel, he was behind Bill Belichick as a linebacker coach before he even got a chance. You can't just come right into the NFL coach.
Yeah, we forgot about the Vikings.
Yes, yeah, no, and the Vikings. We're going to go. We got it. The Vikings.
This is where I think Mike McDaniel goes. They have similar RPO concepts. Cousins knows Shanahan. I think it makes sense.
Cousins isn't going to be there.
Well, I think they'll try to keep him, though, that way.
They're going to get I don't even know who's left. I honestly have no idea. I have no idea
All
who's
right,
going to go
all
there
right.
because
Jeff,
they
who do
don't
you
have
have?
a GM, do they?
No, but
There's
the favorites for the Chiefs one right now.
If you're looking at the Vikings offense, right, they kind of mirror another team where they have a young wide receiver and a guy, a veteran wide receiver and a shitty quarterback and kind of a good running back. And I think this is Kellen Moore's job.
Nathan?
I got Kellen. I agree with Jeff. Kellen Moore. I think he fits perfectly there.
Here's who I think this is going to be a nail breaker and a surprise. Everybody keeps saying this guy is going to stay there and become the coach after the other guy retires. I think Josh McDaniels takes the Vikings job. Wide receivers. He's got a bunch of great offensive players. Cook.
He has no quarterback.
He'll trust me. He'll get his quarterback. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are available this offseason that he can bring in over there. I think
Not that it won't happen, Errol, but it's a long shot.
I know.
They haven't even asked Josh McDaniels for an interview.
I know. But Josh McDaniels, I understand. But I think Josh McDaniels will be interviewing for these jobs nonchalantly. And I think if there's any job that he's going to take, I think the Vikings is the best job for him. There's a lot of offensive talent over there. There really is.
I want to bring this up. One coaching spot maybe we should be looking at just in case. If I heard something with, I think you had your friend Garrod on the show, right, the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I saw that piece. He said that if Dan Quinn or Kellen Moore, both of them leave, he can see Mike McCarthy leaving. Is that true?
I don't think Mike McCarthy's leaving.
Not this year.
No.
I think he's on the hot seat, obviously, after what happened.
Listen.
Maybe
got
next
no
year.
job.
Nathan,
If
I
he
told
leaves right now. He's got
Nathan,
no
I
job.
told the Beef when Mike McCarthy took the job and they gave him the job, he will not last 3 years with the Cowboys, and he's on his way out already. Everybody's booing him out. I knew this was going to happen. He's not going to win. He's never won without two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And I'm not saying Dak isn't a good quarterback. He's not Aaron Rodgers.
He's the best in the league.
And he's not Brett Favre. Okay, let's be honest. He's not any of those guys. So he's never going to win with that team.
The tougher part too, Nathan, with Dallas is who's going to be like Jerry's ego guy, because that's always going to
The
play
only
into it.
team that can win with that team is probably Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
that's probably.
Oh, don't say that. Every Cowboy fan's gonna be like, "Go get Bill Belichick."
They're never going to.
Bill Belichick. Let's go.
They're never going to get him. I mean, honestly,
If that
he will
happens,
he'll never work with Jerry Jones. He'll never work with Jerry.
But I think, in my opinion, in order for us to win the Super Bowl, Jerry Jones needs to step down as a GM, focus on being owner.
That'll never happen.
Good luck with
You're
that.
stuck with him till he
You're not gonna-
dies.
He'll be in his
Right.
deathbed actually making picks. You kidding me? There's no way.
With the first pick of the 2051 NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys.
I have to say, his sons
terrible.
his sons
You're going to
know
hell.
his sons know how to make picks. I think when his sons
No, but it's the credit goes to Will McClay, our scouting person. Will McClay, he does not get enough credit. I think he's one of the best scouts I ever seen when it comes to talent.
he's wrong with a lot of other talent that he's brought in over there. That's for sure.
Says the Giants go crazy and bring in Rex Ryan.
The problem with the Cowboys is they overpay players. They really
I would
do.
love Rex Ryan as a defensive coordinator, though.
Rex Ryan doesn't. He already came
No,
out and said
I know.
He-
I mentioned it because somebody wrote Rex Ryan in the comments or whatever.
Yes, no.
I wasn't.
Rex Ryan already came out and said he will never come back and coach again. He's making $1.5 million working at ESPN. Why would he come back?
Well, right. I mean, if Bill Cowher ain't coming back, Rex Ryan.
Hey, how about a guy?
Getting $8 million as a coach is a lot more than $1.5 million.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to, again, Jeff, he doesn't have to stress. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to plan anything. He just sits over there and talks football. Why would he come back?
And take shots at Robert Saleh.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I mean, Gruden did it.
What?
Gruden did it, and Gruden's getting paid a
Gruden-
ton more than Rex Ryan is.
Gruden's different because he was around it. He had those coaching
So is
camps.
Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan don't have coaching camps like Gruden. He has quarterback camps that he
Yeah.
does every offseason
Well,
with
not
quarterbacks.
I don't think they're going to
Well,
not anymore,
Not anymore,
but-
but he was doing that.
Yeah.
He was around the game.
No,
Rex
I
Ryan,
agree with you. I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
they were both doing
And
the same.
just-
But Gruden's money was probably more than Gruden was probably making $10 million a year, doing what 14 games a week.
No, he wasn't
A
making
year?
that much.
14
He had
games a year?
I think Gruden had the ESPN contract was $3.5 million a year.
No, it was 5. It was,
Was
over
5?
5.
It was 5. That was the
Over
second.
5.
That was the second contract he got extended to.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like $3.5 million, and he did. And Jeff's right. He did get
Yeah,
a
that makes sense.
$5 million.
There's another name that we should be looking out for. We forgot from Buffalo, Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, he's being interviewed again. Defensive guys aren't hired as much. I wouldn't say he's a bad coach. I wouldn't say he's a bad coach, Nathan. But the problem is one.
Look what he did with the Vikings.
He wasn't bad with.
He was horrible.
That team wasn't that good.
He
with
was
the Vikings.
horrible.
The team wasn't that good.
Oh my God, he was horrible. Leslie Frazier, he's one of those guys that you can say he's a good defensive corner. He's a horrible coach. I do not want Leslie Frazier as my coach.
Yeah. Plus, Nathan, the other thing is a lot of teams aren't really doing as much retreads anymore. I mean, the Lions did it with Dan Campbell, but beyond that, it's not.
I would
it's
give
not as much.
I would give Todd Bowles another chance.
I think another.
I would give
I think
Todd
the other
Bowles another
guy that
chance.
people forget about.
He's gonna get his chance.
Because they were really bad in the beginning of the season is Eberflus from the Colts too.
Yes.
I think Todd Bowles is so very underrated as a defensive coordinator in this league. And it's a shame because he went to the Jets and the Jets didn't put the right pieces around him and he got fired.
That's why I think
he didn't even coach bad for the Jets. That Jet team was just god awful.
Well,
it wasn't god awful. They weren't great.
It wasn't. The 2016 season they still had talent and Bowles didn't coach very
They
well.
had Brandon Marshall.
Right.
They had
2017 was when they started to purge
5
everything.
years old.
No. Brandon Marshall had one of his best seasons.
He had a great year with the Jets his first year there.
Yeah, one of his best seasons over there. What are you talking about? He had like 1,600 yards. He was almost an all-pro player that year.
I agree with you. And then the next year happened, and he aged.
He was hurt.
He's been like that his whole career, Tyler.
But he aged.
He still have 1,000
No,
yards.
but Brandon
Brandon
Marshall's been that way his whole
Receivers
career
age.
though since he left Denver though. He had one great year in Miami to start, then he was bad. Then he had first 2 years with Chicago, he was great, then he fell off. Then he was with the first year with the Jets was great, fell off. It fell off the next year. And then the Giants signed him and then his career ended.
Well, that's
You
right.
know, I wanted to mention something else to you, Errol, too, because I was talking with some old friends earlier today.
Yep.
From a previous life. And a little birdie told me to look out that Jim Harbaugh is probably using these interviews to squeeze more money out of Michigan and punish Michigan for taking some money away from him last time. So I wouldn't be surprised if these interviews or this Harbaugh talk is to squeeze another contract out of Michigan.
I could see that if it wasn't Miami there. If it was Miami kept Flores like they should, I agree with you. But because I don't think any other team's going to take him. I know the Bears are rumored and the Raiders, but I don't see that happening. I think it's Miami or he's staying.
I would just say this: the people that I talk to, I trust. And it's happened a couple of other times where I've mentioned things to Errol and they just magically come true.
They do.
No, you have good sources, Jeff. I'm not discounting that. I'm just thinking
I will
Miami
say
or
this:
bust.
Brandon Marshall is a Hall of Famer, and anybody that doesn't think that he is.
I told Errol about the Edelman retirement.
Yes.
2 months before it happened.
Yes, he was right. He was right about it. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It really is. But again, we can go back and forth. We don't know what's going to happen. And Jim, the only person that knows is
I'd be
Jim.
willing to bet you. I'd be willing to bet you in about 2 months, month and a half, you see another contract from Michigan.
Huh. Well, he'll never win there. So good luck. I mean,
he came close this year.
They just don't.
They just ran into the dogs.
They don't. I just don't.
Man. Sometimes it's just somebody else's day. You know what I'm saying?
He brings these quarterbacks in, and he can't coach these quarterbacks. These quarterbacks just don't develop into the players that he thinks they're going to be. And I think
right,
that's a
but
problem.
he can play the style of football that he wants to play there, though, right? Because he's very much all I'm going to do is run the football. You know, I'm going to run it 40 times a game.
He always has
the
good
four
running
guys in the
backs.
backfield I formation. Those are my favorites.
He always has good running backs. I mean, if you look at the running backs he's had over the last couple of years, they're some of the best in the country.
Right, but that's all he does, and that's all he did in the NFL as well. Like he wanted to go with Kaepernick because Kaepernick could just run, and that's all he wants. He doesn't want anyone to throw the football. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all he wanted out of Colin Kaepernick was someone that could run. You know, listen, he ruined Alex Smith. We had this conversation before. Name one quarterback John Harbaugh has made better, and don't give me Andrew Luck because Andrew Luck was just an absolute prodigy. Right? Name one quarterback Jim Harbaugh made better.
But we already
Shea Patterson came from Ole Miss. He stunk.
I remember that. I really liked him at Ole Miss.
The one that made Alex Smith a star in the game was Andy Reid, right?
The only person I could say
Colin
that
Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick, and that's the only one. That's really the only one.
And he ran him out of the league right quick, didn't he?
I think
How long was Colin Kaepernick's career?
5 years.
It was 5 years, but he also was fired before
Colin Kaepernick ran himself out of the league.
Also,
he
Jim
would still
Harbaugh
be playing in the league if he didn't do the things that he did. I think Colin Kaepernick was a very talented player. I feel like as soon as Harbaugh left, his career was over.
Jim Harbaugh also had a lot of trouble with
what?
some of the young players the 49ers had at the 2014 season.
You know what, though, Errol? I agree with you to an extent, but here's the problem that I'll always run back to is you see Greg Hardy and what he did, and Greg Hardy got more chances. And Ray Rice got more chances.
No, he didn't. Ray Rice didn't.
No,
Ray Rice didn't. As soon as he did that, he was fine. He was done.
Ray Rice was also at the end of his career.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt did. Kareem Hunt did.
Right. Dude, if it weren't for evidence against Aaron Hernandez, he'd still be playing for the Patriots.
Probably.
Right? Like, if he was found not guilty, someone in the league would have picked him up, right? Regardless of the blackballing, which did happen for Colin Kaepernick.
He was out of the game for 2 years.
Listen, if he had real talent, someone would have taken him. Like, you can't tell me if that had been Russell Wilson, that if Russell Wilson kneeled, they would have been like, nope, that's it. You're out of the game. No, Russell Wilson could really play. So someone would have came calling for him. That's like what we're seeing right now for Deshaun Watson. He's raped about 50 women all of a sudden. And people are like, well, how much is he in a trade? Because he can still play. If you had real talent, someone would have come calling and you wouldn't have been out of the league in 5 years.
I think Colin Kaepernick, at the time that he was out, the 2.5 years he was out, I think nobody wanted to deal with him. And they knew with the rights, the movement and everything.
Right, but the juice isn't worth the squeeze at that point because you've seen all these other people are willing to put up with just about any bad behavior.
Jeff, even what Greg Hardy did and Ray Rice did and even Kareem Hunt did, they looked at what Colin Kaepernick did to be worse, and I never understood it.
No, it's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
Imagine fighting for equality and everyone gets mad.
It's absolutely ridiculous what they did to this kid.
Right.
And for what all these other guys, the Greg Hardys almost killed a woman, had a pistol on the car and told the girl that he was going to kill her and drowned her in a toilet bowl. I mean, like, seriously, beating her up.
Right, but that just shows you, beliefs of the old 80-year-old white people that run the league. They don't want equality.
No, I agree, and that's
right. So
I'm not going to talk about politics, equality.
But the other part of this is if Colin Kaepernick was really all that talented, someone would have been willing to overlook that.
I would say that to be true, but I think they just made what he did to be so bad that there was no way in hell. And the only reason why they gave him practices or tryouts is because
it was court ordered.
Exactly. That was the only reason why they did it. I knew no team was going to pick him up. I knew it. No team. Not even the Jets that were looking. There was conversation that they were thinking about bringing Colin Kaepernick. As soon as people found out from the organization that somebody was interested in the organization, they waved it off.
There's still that old saying in the league, right? If you have two quarterbacks, you don't have any. And the fact that they were switching back and forth between Kaepernick and Alex Smith means he didn't know what to do with either one of them, right? Which is what we're actually watching in New Orleans as well. Oh, right. Taysom Hill. Oh, Trevor Siemian. Yes. Taysom Hill. Jameis Winston. They don't have a quarterback in New Orleans.
It also diminishes the role of the whole offense because Taysom Hill can't be using his other roles as much.
And that's where I think that kid from Mississippi State is going to go.
Right, but it was the same
Howell, whatever his name is.
And it's not Mississippi State. It's Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. That's what I mean. I think that's where Corral is going to go. I think he's going to
go. Don't they have Ian Book also?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, but
Ian Book,
really?
He's the worst at everyone you just said.
Huh?
Ian Book's the worst at all the names they just mentioned.
I think the Saints are going to draft Corral. That's why I think Corral.
There.
Yeah, I think he will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I'll be very surprised. Now, Jeff said there could be two quarterbacks. You said two quarterbacks drafted in the first round, Jeff. That's what you said.
I listen. I wouldn't rule out three. First of all, I'll say this out loud and don't give a fuck who hears me. No quarterbacks should be taken in the first round. None of them.
I agree with that. Yeah.
None of them should be. But I think 2, maybe 3 might get taken. Corral, Malik Willis, and possibly Sam Howell.
Mm-hmm. I think the Saints will, if they like a particular quarterback in the first round, they'll do their best to move up to get him. And it makes a lot of sense that Corral would be the guy that they want.
You won't need to move up for any of these bums.
What, you don't like Corral?
I mean, the quarterback that I like the most in this draft is probably Pickett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably Pickett.
I know you said you like Pickett, but I mean, they a lot of people said if Corral didn't get hurt this year, he would have been even better.
He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid, but again, I'm not sure he makes the best decisions either. I don't know if you watched an Ole Miss game, but
I watched.
I think he's raw too.
I watched 2 Ole Miss games this year.
Yeah.
When I heard about
how
him.
raw. But how raw should he be? He's been in college for 3 years.
Right. Yeah, but again, how much is he played with all these top end wide receivers for the little time he did start, and then he didn't even start the whole time. So,
and the Giants will draft a quarterback in the second round.
Dude,
I guarantee.
Dude, Matt Corral just played in the NFL's development league in the SEC. That's what it is.
Okay.
Right. And he was all right. But he wasn't lighting the world on fire, and he made a lot of poor mistakes.
Right.
The only thing that I can say good about him is he played as well as he did, even overcoming Lane Kiffin's coaching.
True. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the decision making, like Errol's saying, and the reading defenses, I think could be better with him. I think his talent is good, but I think those little things.
If Peyton's coaching him, I think if anybody can become a better quarterback in the league, it's Corral. I think Corral would fit over there with the Saints. They got a lot of weapons over there. They got a good running game, and they have one of the best offensive minds in all of the NFL. I think Corral would be perfect over there.
I'm a Pickett guy only for one reason, right? This is the only reason.
He's going to Pittsburgh. He's going to Pittsburgh.
I don't know, but we'll see. But I'm a Kenny Pickett guy for only one reason. He's a 5th-year senior graduate. When you play that much college, like, he won't have the growing pains some of these other dudes could have. He's played more football than any of them.
Right.
He's seen it all. So he's probably would be the most ready to come in immediately and do something.
All right.
Matt Corral's good, but he that offense that they play at Ole Miss isn't like anything that he would play for in the NFL. There is no one coaching like Lane Kiffin. So his learning curve would start all over again.
It's interesting. It really is. I think it's going to be an interesting off season for a lot of football teams. Expect a lot of crazy things to happen. Last year was a lot of crazy things happen when free agency opened up. And I was talking to Josh today that I don't believe the Jets are going to bring back Marcus May. There's a couple of really good safeties that are available in the offseason.
I listened to a mock draft today. They had Kyle Hamilton going to the Jets.
Yeah, he's not going to the Hamilton. I heard that too. There's no way the Jets are drafting at 4 Kyle Hamilton. He's a great player. I think he's going to be a great player in this league. He could be an elite safety. There's no way the Jets are bringing in another safety in the top 10. And the Jets are going to trade down on that number 10 pick, I'm hearing.
The other big question is whether or not the Seahawks will trade Russell Wilson this offseason.
They're not trading him. They're holding on to Pete Carroll. And they're holding on to the GM Schneider. They already said it. They're not getting rid of Russell Wilson. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. I guarantee it. As soon as I heard that Pete Carroll's going to be held, they're going to hold on to Pete Carroll, and they're not getting rid of Schneider. As of right now, they're going to keep Russell Wilson. Why would they trade him? Right. So he's going to be. But here's the guy, DK Metcalf. I'm hearing a lot that they're looking to move him. I've heard a lot.
There's 3 wide receivers that are likely to be traded this offseason. Like
Ridley too. Yep. Ridley. Yep.
Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, and DK Metcalf.
Yep. And I know that people.
Where do those 3 guys end up?
I think that Ridley to the Eagles is getting a lot of buzz from what I'm hearing.
Ridley to the Eagles or the Jets. That's what I'm hearing.
I've seen a lot of Ridley to the Patriots rumors.
I also heard that too. I heard that too.
The New England and Atlanta are very friendly trade partners. Ask Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah, true.
I heard the Patriots too today. Devontae Adams will be available. If Aaron Rodgers is not there, he will not go to camp, and they're going to have to be forced to trade him. So there'll be teams lining up for him. Michael Thomas is another guy that's going to be available this offseason.
I'll give you another. I'll give.
He's never played another.
What? You know what? The Broncos should do the trifecta. Get Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers, and Devontae Adams in Denver.
Nathaniel Hackett.
They're not going to have the money. They're not going to have the
They
money.
don't need
for
a
Devontae.
receiver. They got so many young good receivers.
Nathan, the
over
last
there,
two
you don't need
offensive
another one.
coordinators that they tried to lure from the Packers, teams tried to lure from the Packers as head coaches did not work. Joe Philbin and Ben McAdoo.
If you put Aaron Rodgers on with the weapons they have over there, forget it. Those weapons, they have a lot more weapons than the Packers do. If Aaron Rodgers goes over there, and Jeff's been predicting
That's why I
that
think
for
they're
a
going to
long
push for
time.
Bieniemy, and I think they'll end up getting.
I'll give you the likely destination for Amari Cooper.
Where?
Minnesota with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore ends up in Minnesota. Don't be surprised if they go and trade for Amari Cooper.
Well, they're kind of cash strapped too, and they need other things. I don't know if they have to go after a
Right, but they
receiver
can
right
move
now.
pieces. You can always find the cash. Look
I
at what the
get that,
Buccaneers
but they
did
also
this last year.
remember they also had
Isn't
a
Thielen
guy.
up?
No, not this
When's
year.
his contract?
Who is?
Thielen. I don't think.
I don't think
No,
Thielen's
he's
is up.
free agent next year.
But remember,
Right, but you're missing the point. They can have Cooper and Thielen on the team with Jefferson because all they would have to do is move Thielen back to the slot.
Wow, that would be some freaking offense.
but also too, KJ Osborne as a slot
Dalvin
receiver played
Cook.
very well for them this year.
Yeah, great. Awesome. See you later.
No, I know, Jeff, but I'm saying in order to take on that kind of contract, you need to be able to have the ability to build in other areas. And the Vikings are talented.
You realize like the Buccaneers were like 800 million over the cap this year, and still managed to re-sign everybody. You realize money in the NFL isn't real, and they can find a way to do it.
Thielen's got 3 more years actually.
Was it? He signed that extension a couple of years ago.
3 more years
That's right.
Thielen has.
That's right.
2025
I forgot about that extension. After that year,
I would trade Thielen for Cooper though. At this point,
Cooper.
They're not going to do it just straight up.
Well, no, but
I think they're going to get used to
to give some.
They're not trading those. They're not trading for each other.
Yeah.
I'm saying Cooper would add to Thielen and
Cowboys need to
Jefferson.
They need to get rid of contracts.
Cooper might be a little better, but it's not by much. And I think they're going to go for the familiar guy.
I'm hearing that they're going to drop Lawrence too. I think Lawrence is going to be
Who's going to
available
want
too.
DeMarcus Lawrence after the last season he just had?
I'm just saying.
Anyone that needs a speed rusher.
Yeah, they need a rusher. I
Buffalo
mean,
maybe
the Jets,
a speed rusher away.
The Jets.
It's not gonna. I don't know if it's gonna be a young team. It's gonna be a team that's gonna probably need
the Jets,
like the
I'm not
pass
taking
rush
him.
away, like the Bills.
I'm just saying the Jets need the Jets need edge rushers.
The Jets
they
definitely
need edge rushers. So they don't have.
The question is, do they want
But
to
you
take
can
on that
draft
level of
one.
a contract?
I'm hearing because there's so many good, defensive players that are going to be available this offseason in free agency. I think the Jets might be looking in free agency for pass rushers. I don't know. They brought in Carl Lawson. He's coming back this year. They're going to need him. They're going to need more than 2 or 3 guys because pass rushers, a dime a dozen, and they're very hard to find.
No, I agree with you. Depth wins. That's why Tampa Bay.
I mean, they
won
got
Super Bowl
they got the draft picks to do it though. They can just dip right into the draft and get it.
You're
done.
right, Jeff.
They can just-
And I'm hearing the Jets are definitely the rumors right now is there's no way the Jets are drafting 2 top 10 picks because that hurts their salary cap. You're talking about $40 million off the cap right off the bat.
So they're going to trade out of 10.
They're going to trade out of 10 and move down a little bit and probably
trade out of 4 or 5 and you'd get more.
That's another thing. And if there's somebody that falls to value and the Jets see that he's falling, the Jets might do that. They might trade for if they see the value of that.
Yeah.
We'll see. But the rumor is the Jets are probably going to trade down. There are teams that are going to be looking to move up. I don't think they're going to have to trade that much down. They could trade 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have to pay as much because it's not a top 10 pick.
Right.
And they could get
15 and 16.
no.
because Philly's going to trade up.
No, because you're
No,
not.
you're not going to have to trade that much to get to 10.
If you're going to 10, you're not going to have to trade much. So if the Jets, let's say the Jets go to 15, they'll get Philadelphia's 15, and they'll probably get a 2nd round draft pick. That's what they'll get to move up those 2 spots or a 3rd round draft pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the Eagles have a bunch of 3rds too.
You know what I
so they
mean?
could
That's
do that,
probably what the Jets would get moving 5 spots, so, and it'll save them money too. And teams know that the Jets are trying to save money. So, cause they want to,
that's why the Jets should trade 4 because 4 is so much more valuable. Rather than get 1 second-round pick, you'd probably get 2 more firsts if you traded out of 4.
That's where 15 and 16. That's a trade that makes a lot of sense if they want to go all the way up to 4. A team like the Eagles, if they want Stingley or something like that.
Well, if the Jets do that, they can keep their 10th pick. They can keep their 10th pick and draft 15 and 16. So,
but that's what I'm saying. That's what they should do. They should draft 10. They should hold on to 10 and trade 4 and get so many more assets. And not even take them for this year, take them next year or something.
Well, you're right. We'll see. The rumor is Douglas is not picking 2 top 10 picks. He will not do it. So the rumors are he is going to trade out of one of those picks. The question is, who?
Even if he did, would they pan out? It's the Jets.
Well, you're right. But Joe Douglas, the last 2 years, he's found some really great players, really good quality players. So it's. Joe Douglas knows.
I know they went from a 4-win team to a 4-win team.
Listen, Jeff, they're the youngest team in football. You can say whatever you want. They're the youngest team by football by far.
I know. How'd that age thing work out for Sam Darnold?
It didn't. And again, he went to a Carolina Panther team that he completely bombed. Well,
and you're probably losing your best receiver, right? Braxton Berrios is probably going to get paid somewhere.
He's getting $3 million, dude. He's not making a lot of money. He's like,
but he's also a free agent. I'm willing to bet someone is probably
the Jets are gonna sign him. The Jets are gonna bring him back. I don't see the Jets losing him. There's no way the Jets are going to let him go for $3 million.
And Crowder's a free agent too, so he's essentially the slot receiver.
His next contract will be $3 million, though.
Yeah,
it'll probably be more. He had a good season.
There is no way. First of all, there's no way that they had 300 yards on the field, and he had a punt. Yeah, he was a great punt returner. You're not paying a punt returner more than $3 or $4 million.
Yeah, but he did a lot of things because he also was running the football.
All right, Jeff. I'll make you a bet.
He was a pretty good versatile player.
I'll make you a bet. Let's bet a bottle of whiskey. Okay, I'll bet you. I don't drink, so I'm gonna buy. If I win, you get me
whiskey.
No. 5 big chocolate bars of Hershey's. I don't know.
Whatever.
I'll take candy. Whatever you want to buy. All right. If you win whiskey,
don't let trailer trash eat any.
All right, 3.5. I don't think he makes more than $3.5 million a year. Okay.
I'll take the over on that.
All right. That's the bet. I got Braxton Berrios getting 3.5 or less.
Had 431 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, 46 catches, and then rushed for 2 touchdowns as well on 7 carries. Most of those were in the second half of the season. And then, like Jeff was saying, was an all-pro as a special team.
Speaking of Braxton Berrios, these
special teams all-pro doesn't get more than $3 million, $4 million. Okay, so
speaking of Braxton Berrios, do you see the Patriots getting in there? The team that released that.
Yes, if somehow the Jets lose back, that's where he's going. He's going back to the Patriots.
I don't think that that's a possibility.
The Patriots?
They have Gunnar Olszewski or whatever.
They have Gunnar Olszewski, and they also have Jacoby Myers who plays the slot. I don't really see a position for him to play.
That's true. They are kind of similar.
We'll see. I just have this feeling that if the Jets,
although Belichick does love him, Belichick does love him some.
Yeah. And Belichick does have a history of signing a lot of ex-Jets too. So
I have this bad feeling that if Braxton Berrios becomes available, that's where he's going. So I
really Edelman 2.0
because and he's very fair. And he'll kill the Jets.
Are you a fan of George Karlaftis?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I like him a lot.
That's who this mock has the Jets take.
And he might fall. And he.
I mean, who was the first one that mentioned Karlaftis?
You did.
Come on,
you did. Yeah, you did. Purdue and I do believe it. And Karlaftis is going to fall. He's going to fall. He's not getting.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think he's going to rise on some boards.
Really?
If you're looking for a pass rusher around 10, maybe 15. That you could be in, dude. Look out for Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah. Who's that? The Georgia guy?
No, of Florida State.
Florida State. I think the Jets really need to concentrate on defense in this draft. I really do. Linebacker, pass rushers. That's what they need, and that will solidify and that will put them in a good spot next year. Which has been they had no edge rushers this year. It's been horrible. Horrible.
Listen, underrated offensive line draft too.
No, there's a lot of good offense. You could get offensive linemen in later rounds too.
I mean, you can, but not like dominant. Like the dominant guys were always taken kind of at the top of the draft.
Oh, who do you think is the most dominant? Well, the center from Iowa, everybody loves. They love
Everyone loves Linderbaum. Everyone loves Evan Neal. I'll give you one that people don't mention. Charles Cross.
Yes. Yeah, he's. I've seen him a lot in the top 10 recently too, Jeff. Charles Cross.
Charles Cross is someone that not a lot of people are mentioning. Listen, another guy, I mentioned this guy before, worth probably a first rounder, Ike Mekwonu.
Yeah, the NC State guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who this person has. The Giants taking at 7.
Who?
Kim Okwanu, whoever
Okwanu?
he just said.
At 7. Wow.
They're definitely their 2 picks. They're definitely getting an offensive lineman. I'll put money on it.
They have to. They have no
They're
choice.
absolutely going to. And if they bring in a Buffalo guy, yeah, he knows they all believe the trenches. Front 7.
If they
the
were
back
smart,
seven.
if the Giants were smart, if the Giants were smart, they would draft 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah, they might.
They also need pass
I'm
rushers
telling-
too, though. So we'll say.
Yeah, that's great. You can listen. Their problem isn't on defense. They need to somehow open holes for Saquon Barkley, and I don't know, maybe not get Daniel Jones killed. And even if Daniel Jones isn't there, I don't care if you like him or you don't. Someone's got to protect the quarterback. You can't keep going the way you're going.
I agree with you. I think that offensive line, also the Cowboys.
Yeah. Don't. I was going to say, don't be surprised if we trade up to get one of these offensive linemen because.
How do you train up?
Well, they got pieces they could trade.
Yeah, we got pieces.
They could franchise.
They packaged DeMarcus Lawrence in a deal to trade up.
Hold, I'll ask the Cowboys. What package you got?
Huh?
Who are you packaging? Who are you getting rid of to get a first round pick?
I would package Amari Cooper, maybe in that deal, a couple of draft picks, and then trade up to get one of these offensive linemen.
Yeah, the question is who's going to take that on. That's the
right. But in that package, you're literally paying the idiot tax.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw. I'm going to put DeMarcus Lawrence and Amari Cooper and a couple of draft picks in there for a first-round draft pick. So you're giving away the whole farm and paying an idiot tax just to try to clear money off of your books.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
I think this is what I would do if I were the Cowboys. If you want to move,
who's the team that has the salary cap space
and it
to
has
take
the
on those two
obvious
contracts?
need to be able to do that. Yeah.
I don't know where I don't know where the
figure
Cowboys are drafting in this draft. I think 25.
25. The guy from the Hawkeyes, he's not going to last that long, right?
25, 26. I think you franchise Van Der Esch, and I would use Van Der Esch as a piece and trade that 25th back.
You need to keep
Linderbaum won't be there.
I know that, but that's what you're going to need to do if you want to get a particular player and move up in the draft the way he wants to move up in the teens. You're going to have to trade something at value. And Van Der Esch, who you can franchise, you franchise him and you trade Van Der Esch in the first round pick, and you can move up somewhere in the teens if you draft him at 25.
You the guy from
but you're creating a new hole.
No, you're taking away a contract that you don't have to pay. And then,
Right.
and
All right. So
this
you
is-
lose Van Der Esch. Who's their linebacker next year?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we
Baylor?
got Mike
Oh,
McCarthy.
the other
Lawrence are
LSU
gonna
kid,
rush.
the LSU kid they drafted last year.
They could trade
Jabril
linebackers.
Jabril Cox.
This is a
Jabril
stacked
Cox.
draft for linebackers. This is a stacked draft.
I
No.
would
You
trade.
got,
I would trade.
Jabril
Would
Cox.
they draft another linebacker?
Yeah, the LSU
Oh,
kid.
by the
I'm
way,
drawing a
they
blank
need
on his
to
name
bring
at the
back
top of my
Schultz.
head. Jalen Cox. That's who it is.
No, Jabril Cox.
This is exactly the reason why I got Cowboy season tickets. These Cowboys fans propose these trades like they're a drunk 16-year-old playing Madden with common sense on. You know, like it's
No
incredible.
salary cap. No salary
Yeah,
cap.
I mean, it's incredible.
I'll
We're
never
going to
play
move
with
into the
salary
top
cap.
10 because we're going to
Makes
give
no
away
sense.
everybody.
Do you think one of these offensive line lasts to 25 or no?
Maybe an interior, but it's still going
There's
to
a you're gonna
Jerry
get
Jones is not taking a lineman in the first round.
you're gonna get a lot of value in the second and third round for offensive linemen. They're good guards, interior guards that are going to be available. What I've read in the mock draft.
Here's the other problem with what they're doing, right? Is they're an offensive team and they love offense and the whole thing. But you're proposing trading Amari Cooper somewhere, somehow. I don't even care if it's for a 7th round pick. I don't even give a shit. What are you replacing them with?
You're gonna have to bring Gallup back, I guess.
You're right. You're
off
right.
an injury.
Yeah. Right. But no one in their right mind thinks Cedric Wilson or Michael Gallup is going to be a reasonable replacement.
No, they're not.
Nobody.
Amari Cooper, no, they're not.
So how is their team getting better? Because Amari Cooper is going to be gone, and we're going to have this trade So if you're making that trade, you're probably drafting a wide receiver.
Yep. And like you said, Jeff, there'll be. And by the way, Jeff, you were right, because I read something today that one of the drafts, very well-known draft guy that we actually had on the show, I saw his picks. He's got six first-round wide receivers getting drafted.
I've got at least 5, because I still don't give a shit about Jamison Williams' injury. I think that he's still
he's going in the first. Oh, he's definitely going in the first round. Absolutely.
I'll give you the 5 that I have. In no particular order, right? Don't nitpick me on this guy went ahead of this guy or whatever. Jamison Williams, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, and Drake London. Slam dunk, those 5 guys make the first round. And I also wouldn't be shocked to see David Bell go.
It's interesting.
And keep an eye on Wan'Dale Robinson also. Wan'Dale Robinson can get in there too. That dude is a burner.
All right, guys. We got to go. Jeff, thank you for joining us.
And I love when you go, oh, by the way, Jeff, you were right, because I saw some. Dude, I've always been right when it comes to this. Stop questioning it.
No, I'm just telling you what I've read. I'm just going through the draft boards and some certain things, and
you should have been on board with me when I told you Zaven Collins was going on 15, and everyone went, who? And he went at 15.
He went at 16, and Mac Jones
You
went
wish
at 15.
he went at 15.
He went at 15. So you.
Oh, that's right. The Patriots had 15.
Yes.
Yeah. He went at 16.
Yes.
Stuck says the Jets are going to trade back for Jamal Adams. That's not going to happen.
Never.
Aaron Rodgers to the Giants. That's also not going
But
to happen.
here's a rumor that the Jets are talking to Seattle on making a trade for the Seattle Seahawks to move up to 10. To get that 10th pick, So we'll see what they're.
If that happens, DK Metcalf incoming.
Well, DK Metcalf and other players. You can't just DK Metcalf is not worth a 10th
no. It'll
pick.
be DK Metcalf in their draft pick.
No,
it'll be
DK Metcalf is. There's only maybe 2 wide receivers I would trade for a first-round draft pick, especially that high. To move to get a 10th pick in the first round, you're going to have to give up a lot. That's a significant pick.
DK Metcalf is a lot.
DK Metcalf is not worth the 10th pick in the first round.
That's not what I said.
He said DK in a second-round pick.
Second round pick. That's a lot.
I don't think so. I think you're going to need
Seattle's second-round pick is pretty early. I think that's fair.
You think so?
Hold on. I'll tell you here in a second. Hold on.
Because they have their second-round pick.
The Giants are what, 7?
I think their pick is 12 or 13 because they were a 7-win team.
Oh no, the Jets.
I know Atlanta's 8.
The Jets are 4.
I think they're 9. I think
so
Seattle's 9.
Would be Seattle, so that would be
they're 10.
Okay, so what's Seattle's pick?
10. So they're 10 in the second round, whatever that is, 30, 42,
10
42.
in the second round.
Well, yeah, because they don't have their own first. No, if Seattle's trying to get their own pick back, so they trade DK Metcalf.
41. I see it right here.
41.
41.
Okay, 41. All right.
So that's worth $490, and you're trying to trade the 10, which is worth $1,300. So you gotta make up for 1,000. What's worth 1,000?
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf.
I don't think he's worth.
No.
I'm not saying he is.
1,000 is essentially the 16th pick, and so that's what the difference is. So you would have to get DK Metcalf and Seattle's first rounder next year to trade out.
Oh wow,
that's what I thought. Yeah. That's a lot.
I would do that too if I'm Seattle.
That's a lot. I mean,
depending on who's available, I would do that.
I mean, if I were the Jets, I would do that too. I mean, because the Jets will have another pick next year, and they don't have to really worry about this year. They drafted the 4th pick. They got 2 seconds. They've got 3 seconds because they get the second. They
Carolina.
They got 3 seconds.
Because so 1,000 is worth the 16th pick, which is about average, right? And so this is how you got to value it out. If Seattle, if they were able to go to 10 or wherever they were going to draft, and it improved their team, that draft choice could actually end up dropping to 20, 21, 18, 19, whatever. So you'd lose value there. So that's why it's a first, and DK Metcalf would make up the difference there, because any higher than 16 and the Jets would be losing value.
And Seattle will be better next year. That nobody thought that Seattle was going to be a 10 worst teams.
You don't know that. Maybe they're trading up for a quarterback to replace Russell Wilson. You have no idea why they want 10.
I think they. Yeah, but I think Russell Wilson's staying though from everything.
Well,
I do too. I do too.
There's a
They
lot
might
that
be able
could
to
happen
get. They
from
might
now in
draft
March.
a quarterback in the second round, maybe in case he changes his mind, and then they starts the trade rumors
Everything
again.
that I've read after Pete Carroll and Schneider keeping their jobs, that Russell Wilson is going nowhere. That's
A
what
lot
they
could
said.
happen from now in March.
That's why I think they might
Better
maybe in the
open up
second
your
round, but
pockets
not the
because
first.
they're not just going to give him away.
I'm not. I don't know where he's going.
I'm
but
just telling you.
saying he might.
No
win out.
team. There's no way Seattle's just going to say, "Here, you want Russell Wilson? Oh, he's only 33 years old. Take him."
No, we agree.
I mean, you gotta look at the teams with the capital. Would you be surprised if Seattle said, "Give me Tua and the 2 first-round draft picks for Russell Wilson"?
They don't have to.
Miami might.
They don't have to. They don't have to because they traded one of the Eagles. No, they traded theirs to the Eagles to trade up.
If the Giants
only
want
have
him,
the
they're going to have to give up the 2
pick.
firsts.
I got one for you. Who has 3 first-round picks this year?
The Eagles.
3 first-round picks. Jalen Hurts for Russell Wilson.
He wants to go. His wife wants to go to big city. It's either
Philadelphia is a big city.
No,
The Eagles. The Eagles also said they're probably sticking.
They're
with Hurts.
talking. No, when she says
Russell Wilson's not.
it's either New York or L.A. And obviously we went on
out.
Matthew Stafford. Maybe
Could be Chicago. Chicago's a big city.
The Chicago tried to trade for him last year for 3 first rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not a bad return if you can get a couple of first-round draft picks and have him throw in Justin Fields.
Well, that's
not
true.
a bad.
That is true.
Not a bad way to transition.
That's true too. That's not a bad idea.
I mean, there's a lot of ways that this could go, man. There's a ton of ways. Listen, does anyone think in their right mind that Pittsburgh? Listen, if Pittsburgh didn't have Ben Roethlisberger, they would have been a contender for the Super Bowl this year. That team played awesome defense and they got enough weapons, but because they basically had an autistic kid at quarterback who couldn't throw, right? Like they don't want Kenny Pickett and start over with a rookie. They're ready to compete now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, guys like that are on Pittsburgh's radar as far as maybe trying to make a trade.
Interesting.
They don't want to start over with Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral or Malik Willis.
No, I
they
think
don't want to roll the dice.
I think Pittsburgh's going to bring in a veteran. I do believe that, but I think they're going to draft somebody too. I think, but there will be a veteran that they're going to decide to bring in. I've also heard, what's his name again? It used to be the quarterback for Tennessee.
Mariota.
Mariota is a guy that Pittsburgh is very interested in. So I wouldn't be surprised.
But he's not even the best backup in the league. Mitch Trubisky is.
Such a smart ass. He's such a smart ass.
Mitch Trubisky back to the Bears as Russell Wilson's backup in that scenario. 3-team
Listen,
trade.
There's a lot of moving pieces though. Like there's a ton of moving pieces because if Miami's making a trade, everyone for forever has been saying they've been trying to trade for Deshaun Watson or whatever. They get their hands on one of these quarterbacks. 2 is going somewhere.
Well, Jeff,
is Jared Goff staying in Detroit?
I think this year he will, but he might be traded next offseason.
I don't know. He had a great season.
That's why I'm thinking.
I trade him now. I get him at his highest value because he's
right.
He's good.
That's fair.
He's at a
what's
really
going on?
good
What's
season.
going on with Teddy Bridgewater? Carolina doesn't seem very happy or Denver doesn't seem happy to have him.
He might stay as a backup.
He's a borderline starter. I mean, I don't think he's a starter. I think he's a great backup.
Yeah, I think he'll stay as a backup.
I think he's a great. He'd be
But they have Drew Lock there that could be a backup, right? Because Drew.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Bridgewater could get cut.
They like Drew Lock.
Right.
They like Drew Lock.
Right.
So I don't know.
Does Teddy Bridgewater end up in Pittsburgh?
Could that could absolutely happen.
I don't give a shit what you think about Teddy Bridgewater. He's better than the downsy Ben Roethlisberger they had this year. Could that dude throw the ball more than 4 yards downfield?
That poor guy, man. His ears are probably ringing right now every time. He's sleeping right now. Bing, 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 bing.
Good. No one gives a shit about him. He's a rapist.
Well, that's true, too. Anyways, Jeff, thank you for calling, bud.
Always a pleasure, Errol and Speedy.
Jeff from Tampa, ladies and gentlemen. Niffin.
Hold on. Real quickly. I want to make sure my ears were open and I was not drunk anymore. You said what about Jared Goff's season?
What do you mean?
What did you just say about Jared Goff?
He had a good season.
Good.
Yeah, good season.
Good season.
Like you would want him on your team?
Would I want him on my team?
Not over Zach Wilson, just you're a team that needs a quarterback, and Jared Goff is like floating around.
Yes, absolutely.
No.
And I'm not a big Jared Goff fan.
We know.
So
Interesting.
Yes, I thought
Very interesting.
He had 17 touchdowns with nobody really to throw to.
67.2 completion percentage, 32.45 yards,
pretty
19
good.
touchdowns.
It's pretty good. I mean, those are pretty good numbers.
With the best receiver being a Monroe St. Brown.
No, he's pretty good actually.
He's not bad, but he's not great.
I'm not saying that, but he's good. He's you can.
What I'm saying is this is the first time that we saw him make the team better at his position.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is this thing? What are you talking about?
Just curious because you told me that a quarterback earlier today that had better stats in all categories than that.
Who?
Wasn't worth a damn.
What are you talking about?
Jimmy G is better than Jared Goff at everything, and you said he had a good season, and Jimmy Garoppolo did not.
Jimmy Garoppolo has Debo.
And he missed 3 or 4 games.
Jimmy Garoppolo had Samuels. He had guys that actually had great running game.
Samuel wasn't worth a damn until about 4 weeks ago.
Are you kidding me?
Errol, stop acting like you're no
Debo Samuels.
You didn't mention Debo Samuel till he started.
Debo Samuels.
Debo Samuel now is a name.
Oh, really?
Going into the year, you didn't think he was shit.
In everybody's mock league, he was drafted in
right.
It was in the mock league. He was drafted in everybody's round in the 3rd round. Debo Samuel. That's not a bad player.
I didn't say he was a bad player, but he wasn't an all-pro. He's got Debo.
Debo Samuel.
No one was saying that. Oh, Jimmy G needs a good year. He's got Debo.
Oh, I know somebody that said Debo Samuel this year, but before the season even started. Jeff said Debo Samuel.
Sure he did. I'm not saying we did not.
The fact is he's got more talent around him than Jared Goff had. A lot more.
Jared Goff in LA had a lot more talent than he has now. So,
What? No, he didn't.
That Ram team that led the NFL in yards and points.
No, he didn't.
That offense was Cooper Kupp,
Todd Gurley,
Woods,
Todd
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley,
Gerald
that's
Everett.
a running back, and you're talking about it. And Robert Woods, highly overrated, by the way. Highly overrated. I never liked Robert Woods. Came from Buffalo. Who cares?
He's not a special player. He's
but
a
he's
reliable
solid wide
receiver.
He's highly overrated. He's not a great wide receiver.
Better than Brandon Ayuk. Is that correct?
Is he better than Samuels?
I don't think he's skill-wise better than Ayuk, but I think he's more reliable.
Is he better than
Ayuk.
Samuels?
No.
No, but Cooper Kupp is better than Debo.
Cooper Kupp is.
Yeah. Cooper Kupp wasn't even playing. 1 year he missed the whole season because of torn ACL, and a year before that he wasn't the player he is now. He wasn't even close to the player he is now.
But there's only been one player that's the player that he is now, and that's Calvin Johnson. Other than that, no one's had the year he just had. But
Jared Goff had nothing this year, and I'm going to give him credit. I don't like him, and I do. He's at his highest rate right now because he proved that he could play with garbage, and he still play well, and he beat good teams too. But I'm gonna if you're gonna trade somebody, this is the time to trade Jared Goff. Don't wait until next year. If you think that you can get rid of him and get something significant, I think you could get a 1st-round draft pick for Jared Goff. I do.
Absolutely no way in hell.
Okay. I think you can. And he's young. He's 25 years old. He's got his contract, so his contract's going to be absolutely worth it 3-4 years down the road.
Contract's almost up.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
He's got 2 more years.
Yeah,
right.
That's
so
not
they get him a year, and then after that, they got to pay him.
Let's say the Steelers
and they can franchise
Jared Goff,
and they can franchise
2 more years, and then decide when they can draft a quarterback.
So you're going to trade a first-round pick for a quarterback that you might lose in 2 years.
Yeah, where are they drafting?
20-something.
So who cares?
Yeah, the worst playoff team, or 2nd worst playoff team. So
you hear
they're
yourself?
You're
giving up a top 20 pick for a quarterback you might not have in 2 years.
I think they will keep him. I think they would keep Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff has proven that he can play. He proven on a team that's not that good with the weapons that they have right now at Pittsburgh. On that team,
what weapons?
27 years old, Jared Goff.
Pittsburgh's got weapons. Johnson, Claypool.
That's Johnson had a career year. You got to pay him. Chase Claypool is gone. Mike Tomlin can't stand him. And then who else? They had 3 receivers on their roster at the end of the game.
Well, Juju too, but I think
Juju's
gone. Yeah, he's gone. Najee Harris is a weapon though too.
I understand that. I'm just saying.
Even though tight end Freiermuth wasn't bad this year either.
No, he wasn't. But
anyways,
I think he's a solid player. He's not great. But
why don't we go before we stay for another friggin' hour? Nathan, have anything to say before we let you go?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on. Now I'm gonna take this medicine and pass the fuck out. So
there you go, man. Get healthy, and we'll talk soon, man.
Yeah, well soon, Nathan.
And everyone, please follow,
next week.
Please follow our show, the NR Hour, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all podcast platforms. So go check out our show, the NR Hour. So.
All right, Nathan, over there in Florida. All right, guys, that's it for our show. Listen to the Weekend Crunch, 7 p.m. this weekend, Speedy.
Nope, this week there's an Islander game, so we will be on after. One of the 2 remaining Islander regular season games that'll interfere. The last one's like the last week of the season or something like that.
All right, so no more Saturday games.
Until the playoffs, maybe, if they make it.
Thank you.
What?
What'd you say?
Let's go Rangers.
Yes, let's go. Let's go our team.
Yeah.
Yes. Can't say that name, otherwise I get in trouble.
Oh,
I don't care. I don't care if you say "Let's go Rangers." It doesn't bother me.
Just do the Twitter mantra #LGR.
LGR is right. Yep.
Anyways, that's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on Wednesday. Until then, this is us saying good night. Good night.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.